We're doing intro now. What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another session of D&D Sealing Dragons. Thank you for being here. It has been such a long time. I'm so happy to be back with all of these wonderful individuals playing this fun and exciting game. Thank you again for tuning in for this session. It's going to be a lot of fun. We have a bit coming up for the next week. We have a one-shot on Sunday. Unfortunately, one of our players isn't going to be there. So we're going to do a one-shot of, I believe, A Known Gnome is the game that we're going to play on Sunday. So that should be a lot of fun. I look forward to getting into that. Tuesday, Tyranny of Dragons returns. Wednesday, Civil War Session 1. Gonna dive deep into our very first game of our second season of that campaign. We return here for this game next Friday, and then Ascension the following Sunday. Other than that, that's pretty much everything. We're really excited because we're now back at the first of the year. We're getting back into the normal games and a normal schedule. So it'll be pretty fun to get back to that. I believe everybody's ready over here. Let's take a listen in.
One.
Are you guys ready over here?
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah, let's do it.
Or something. All right, is Viz ready to recount the last session of Waterdeep Dragon Heist?
Yes.
Excellent.
I think we've met all of our neighbors now. Fala owns the Corlin's Crown. They're super nice, and I made an amazing bargain with them. I traded the finest chest in my possession for a healer's kit. I have no idea how to use this, though. But anyway, I'm going to bring this with us, and it's probably going to come in certain use. Worst case scenario, they can use it on me. We also met our other neighbor, Vincent Trench. He's a bit of a gruff man. He's a private detective, and he says he's very good at finding information about people. He claims he's the best, but one thing he did tell us is he doesn't like it when people knock on his door without business. But we introduced ourselves, and I'm sure he'll come around to liking us. We were walking to go to Durnan, and John Kai received a message from someone in Forest Grey saying to go to Blackstaff Tower. From there, we received our very first quest! Yeah! Rilitar, who's a member of Forest Grey, has given us the almighty quest to talk to a hermit in a cave named Hlam. He's a monk who is very perceptive to the dangers of the world. Forest Grey is hoping he has information to aid them in upcoming changes and dangers in the world. We, of course, accept this quest and begin our journey to the large land rise south of Blackstaff Tower. As we're walking, I've kind of noticed something, Book. Risk is really kind of bothered by this whole ordeal. He seems to have felt singled out because he doesn't use magic. And I've only known Risk for a few days, but we've already claimed a home together, and I would consider him one of my closest friends. I told him I'm going to complete this quest without use of magic. Show those Forest Grey people we're super useful without it. I mean, we're just going to go talk to a hermit. We don't need magic anyway. While we're on our way there, Risk and Talia climbed the mountainside leading to the cave instead of walking the path like the rest of us. It was really hard to see from my perspective. I think Talia won. God, she's so strong. It was close, though. I thought for sure Risk was going to win. Our meeting with Hlam went well. He knocked me out, and then he woke me up. And then he knocked Talia out, and then he woke her up. He's wonderfully kind. He offered to teach us, but instead he just punched us a lot. Like a lot. He did give us a message to deliver, though. It's very ominous. He said, "Impending threat coming soon. We don't know what it is or how to stop it, or where to find more information. Evil grows more paranoid and less patient." So we returned to Rilitar and relayed that information we received back to him. He congratulated us on our amazing work and said there's a chance he'll have more work for us in the future. We might even get paid for it. And I think that makes Jot happy, and that makes me happy. And also, I didn't use anything arcane on our quests, so I hope that made Risk a little happier too. That's it.
Alrighty. So, you had a quest for the Grey Hands, or Force Grey, with the Blackstaff personally reaching out to at least one of you via a sending spell to recruit you to go visit this mysterious Hlam. And you were able to get some information from him, as well as a few practical teachings from him as well. But with that, you moved back to the Blackstaff Tower, informed Rilitar of what you learned from Hlam. It's now well after dark at this point. As you were venturing down Mount Waterdeep from Hlam's cave, you saw the somewhat epic sight of all the drift globes covering the city of Waterdeep that kind of illuminated during the night, giving you enough light to see as you're traversing the city streets and such. Like I said, it's just very pretty sight. Stars up close is almost what it appears to be. But with that, you found yourself outside of the Blackstaff Tower now. Rilitar has said he was very sleepy, very tired, with it being after dark at this point. So you're now outside the tower. What do y'all want to do?
The drift globes, are they like tethered to anything?
Not that you see, no.
Can I have one?
They were about 100 to 150 feet up in the air.
Do they just constantly float all day?
Not during the day, no. They only come out at night.
Okay. Where do they come from?
Give me a history check.
Where do they come from? Where do they go? Where do they come from? Got my joke.
Sure, my
That's a 12.
solid 12. So you know that the drift globes of Waterdeep are kind of one of the wonders of Waterdeep itself. These drift globes, normally the little bit of lore about this item. It used to be a very, very commonplace magical item all throughout Faerun itself. However, over the passage of centuries and millennia and such, they've become rare and rare over time. But Waterdeep seems to have just a plethora of them. You know that drift globes normally need to be controlled by someone. They're an item that follow commands. Basically have one hovering over your shoulder. A lot of wizards and mages and such use them whenever they're studying, old tomes and such to have a constant source of light above them. However, the ones in Waterdeep are a bit special, a bit unique. They come out every night, clockwork, whenever it's dusk, no matter the time of year, even though days do get longer and shorter, much like they do in our own planet of Earth. As the seasons change, they constantly only come out during the night and during the day, and no one person seems to control them. They seem to just know and follow the orders of the passing day and time. During the day, you do notice them as you're walking around Waterdeep itself. You'll see them kind of sitting in alleys or sitting on top of buildings and such. They kind of, whenever they retreat during the dawn, they kind of just end up wherever they end up laying down for the day. I would imagine, with a 12, that people have fancied themselves to take one of these drift globes and have it for themselves and such, but for whatever reason, they always seem to vacate whatever premises or bag or holding chamber that they're put into and make their way outside with the next night.
Hey, Jot.
Yeah.
Wouldn't it be super cool if we could have one of those, like for our own? Like that way, if we're like reading late at night or if we're riding or something, we could have some light and not have to bother everyone else.
That would be really awesome. Yeah.
I just think that'd be super neat. I don't think we're gonna get one of these because, like, even if we captured one, it would probably just float out of our house or break the roof or something. So maybe if we can find or make our own sometime, that'd be really cool.
I will, if I can figure out how to make one, I will make one for you.
I feel like Biz's wish list from Jot is getting super long. Could you do this and this? Ooh, and this? He sounds very needy.
I am.
That's fine.
Don't leave me.
I want to make things, but I need so much money.
So I'm kind of tired, guys, after like getting punched a bunch. How about you?
No, I feel great. No, I everything hurts.
No, I'm good.
He literally poked me and I just collapsed. It was really bad.
I'm kind of hungry. I could really use something to eat.
We didn't eat anything today.
No, we really need to work on that diet. It's very important for adventuring, We've got to have energy.
I have a severe lack of that right now, so it's like maybe we should go get food?
Havoc, is there any it's pretty late, 24-hour, cheap food? It needs to be cheap. We're so poor.
Is there some Taco Bell?
No, we need a dive diner that's only open overnight.
Ramen shop, something.
Something other than rat stew.
Some late night shawarma, maybe.
Yeah, slightly shawarma.
So you know that you're just north of the castle ward, kind of at the bottom of the seaward currently. You know that the market lies directly to your east, and you know that there's typically food carts, things of that nature, where people can get cheap meals, cheap snacks, things of that nature. It is pretty late, but you might be able to find something there. If nothing else, that'd be a good place to start.
Let's go there.
I will follow Jot's lead. She knows this place better than anyone else, so.
Okay.
I will just take really baby steps behind her so I don't overtake her in speed.
Yeah, can I find some sort of place that's still open that has food? Inexpensive food, okay? The budget is low here.
It needs to be a dive with amazing food, okay?
Yes.
All right. Who's searching for this? Which one of y'all is going to be keeping an eye out?
Probably me.
All right. Make a perception check for me.
I really thought I had perception. Okay.
Okay.
Let's do.
I thought I was proficient in that, but I'm not. Okay.
So as you're walking over, you make your way towards the market. You know that the market here in the castle ward is kind of the next best place compared to the trade ward to go whenever you want to purchase items. Find places that sell mundane items, clothing, weapons, armor, things of that nature. This kind of sprawling circle typically is lined all around it. As you're moving up, you see all the buildings that kind of make the ring of the market. A few of them kind of being stalls, some other kind of businesses and such. All laid dark at this point. Like I said, it's probably the equivalent of 9 or 10 o'clock at night at this point. Typically in the middle of the market where this kind of open area is, you'll have vendors of different kinds with carts or even something as simple as a sheet or cloth mat laid on the ground where they have their wares out and they just monitor that and pedal with the people that want to purchase things. As you're looking out towards the middle of the market, it lies almost bare at this point. You see a few people are kind of wrapping up at this point, gathering all their belongings and everything to head back home. As you're looking around, you do see a couple of carts that are still open with torches or lanterns hanging from their carts. And as you're moving forward, you see one relatively close, and as you're looking around, you see all this yellow substances. You kind of glance a little bit closer. You see it appears to be cheese of different kinds and cuts and such, sitting on the edges of the cart on the sides and such, kind of hanging from little rope twines and such. And you see a kind of smaller, not quite elderly, but definitely middle-aged or so woman standing behind it. She's just kind of calmly looking around at everybody. You see her kind of looking up at the drift globes and such, and kind of waiting.
I'll go up to her. Is she human?
Yes.
Excuse me, ma'am. Is your stall still open?
As you move forward, you see the somewhat older lady kind of looking down, looking over the edge of the cart. She says, "Oh yes, little one. Yes, I stay open a little bit later than others, just in case anybody wants a late night snack and such. I have assortment of cheese, not much variety, but I have a lot of different cheeses. I have some pepper cheese here." She points to this one. You see this cheese with like grains of red and black throughout it. It has a little bit of an interesting taste to it, a little spice to it, but it's very tasty. I can I can promise that. I have this one over here that has various nuts inside of it as well. I have this one's a bit older. It's called a Scotta cheese. It's not quite to the molding state and such, but it gives us a very strong, pungent flavor. Would you like to buy any of these? It's very cheap. 1 copper for a slice.
Sorry, TK, goddammit.
How big is the slice?
Yeah, how big? Copper per slice. How big is the slice?
With that, she pulls down this kind of larger wheel of cheese. One is probably big as your head, Jot. Sets it down and then takes a little kind of large butter knife, slicing through the cheese and such. Holds it up, and it fits, most of her hand and such. It's a decent size sack kind of size. She holds out, generally about this size.
Okay. They're all the same prices?
With that, she nods and says, "Yes."
I'll take 5, please.
5 slices of cheese.
With that, she looks over at Viz and says, "Oh, great. Which ones?"
I would like all of the nut cheese, please.
With that, she reaches up and pulls down another wheel of cheese and everything. And says, "This is about 5 or so." And she just sets it up and begins wrapping it in this cloth and kind of tying it off with a little rope. And says, "Here, the nut cheese for you."
Thank you so much. I'm going to give her 6 copper. Like, oh, thank you so much. This is so great. We're so hungry. Thank you for staying late. Staying open late. It's so great. And I'm going to hand each one of my friends a piece of nut cheese as well.
Can we talk about the fact that... Hold on, can we talk...
The nut cheese.
Let's talk about the fact that Havoc didn't skip a fucking beat and just was like, fuck it, I'm rolling with it.
So with that,
Did you make this cheese yourself?
She takes the 6 copper and seeing the extra one, she says, "That's very generous of you. Thank you, Terry." With that, you see her pocketing it, and you ask her. She says, "Yes, this is my own personal nut cheese. It's very tasty, I promise."
What's your name?
No, I can't do it. I can't do it.
With that, she says, "Oh, I'm Helga."
Helga, your nut cheese is the best I've had in a Waterdeep. This is the most fantastic meal I've had probably in days, and just the quality of the nuts in this cheese is so great. And
I think I'm gonna be sick.
With a wonderful combination here.
With that, she smiles and says, "Oh, you were too kind, really."
Talia, do you taste the nuts in it?
I turn down your cheese. I put my hand out and my nose up.
Oh,
Keep those nuts out of my face.
I didn't even get the stinky cheese. I thought you'd like it.
Your
I'm
nuts out
sorry.
of my face.
Thank you so much, Elga.
With that, she looks over and says, You're such a darling. Here! And with that, she reaches up and you see that pepper cheese that she was talking about. She slices off a couple of slices of it. Here, take this for the road, free of charge. No worries.
It's not spicy, is it? I don't do really well with spicy things.
There's a little spicy, but maybe one of your friends would enjoy it.
Oh, that's so kind. Thank you so much. Do you usually set up shop here, Elga?
With that, she nods. Yes, I've been doing it for, nigh on 20 years now.
Wow, you've been making nut cheese and other assorted cheeses for 20 years?
Yes.
That's dedication. No wonder this nut cheese is so good. You spent so much time honing your craft. It's seriously so good.
It's surprising. Most people don't even try to partake in the nut cheese. And
Well,
for some reason, you jumped
She
all
has
over it.
had, to be fair, she has had a lot of practice, so.
Does your husband help you make the nut cheese?
finally broken.
There's no way a fine lady like yourself is single. Certainly, your husband has to be helping you make this nut cheese daily.
It was a war between me and Steve of who was going to break this, and I lost. With that, she nods. She says, "Yes, actually, he makes all of the nut cheese. It's the one thing he's good at."
Oh, the one skill he has?
Yes, he's a bit of an oaf, unfortunately, but his nut cheese. Oh.
Elga, tell your husband the oath that I love his nut cheese. It's phenomenal and so good.
I will
Bite you.
spread those condolences
Bite you.
to Bartholomew. He takes great pride in his nut cheese, and I'm sure he will love to hear your words of wisdom and your savoring his nut cheese.
Risk, do you want to try this pepper cheese? I know the nut cheese is good, but do you want to try this spicy cheese?
I'd love to try some of the spicy cheese.
This lady is so kind. I wish everyone was this kind of Waterdeep. Man, people are so great here. This is such an amazing city. It's so lively and it's beautiful looking up at the drift globes. It's just everything about the city amazes me. Everything's kind and wonderful and it's great. I love this place.
Kai's gonna look over to Talia and say, how much longer can this go on?
I don't know. I've been zoned out the last 5 minutes. I never listened to him.
Talia, do you like spicy cheese?
I'm just going to live off this air. That cheese is disgusting.
Oh, okay. I mean, it's really pretty tasty, actually.
I don't trust anyone this late slinging their cheese around to strangers.
Just
Okay.
good life advice, honestly.
Life advice.
Do I need to roll for food poisoning?
Nope, it's delicious, not poisonous cheese. The nut cheese does have a bit of a salty mixture to it that you do
Oh,
notice.
I'm a big fan. It's
Of
really
course
good.
it does.
As all good nut cheeses should.
We're
Stop
what?
it.
Fucking 15 minutes in this goddamn session, my abs already hurt.
Well, you didn't know that D&D was also a workout.
I just want y'all to know I'm gonna post it in our DM here. I googled Forgotten Realms cheese.
Oh god.
I don't know why you guys are laughing so much. It's just a totally normal conversation. With me and
Totally
Zach.
normal. Just nut
Super
cheese, it's fine.
Literally what it's called.
Nut cheeses.
Literally called nut cheeses.
And how is any self-respecting DM could I ignore the fact that I could put nut cheeses in a campaign?
Is
Definitely.
it chestnut nut cheese? Because that would be an interesting chestnut nut cheese. Get it right here, hot and fresh.
Hot and fresh chestnuts inside the cheese. Alright, so you have gotten some delicious cheeses from Helga.
Helga? Oh, I thought it was Elga.
I
With an
also
H?
wrote it wrong. Thank you for the
I wrote ELGA. Is it Helga?
Yes, Helga. Helga and her husband Bartholomew.
What
Can
was
we
it?
pretend I said Helga every time
Yes.
instead of Elga? And her husband, the oaf's name is Bartholomew.
Well,
I'm not writing those down. I
now
should,
that we've
though.
had these delicious cheeses, do you guys want to do anything else?
Not search
The
for
night is
cheese.
young, beautiful. We could go
And this is the night
The most beautiful night.
they
You go sleep.
call
we could just like
Bedlam.
take a really long nap.
We could go see Durnan like we wanted to
We
originally.
could go see Durnan. What time roughly is it?
9 o'clock, you said.
9 o'clock. Okay,
Yeah.
missed that. Yeah, we could go see Durnan.
We think Durnan would like some cheese.
Durnan's on the way
might.
home anyway, right? Or no, I guess we'd have to go a little further south.
Ish,
No,
but, you know.
Durnan is super south from where we're going.
Yeah, way out of
Oh,
the
is
way.
he super south? Oh,
Yeah,
my
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
so
There
we're
it is.
northeast, and Durnan is like way down here.
Oh,
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yawning portal. Here.
Yeah. And y'all
okay. I
Jot?
thought we were still in that vicinity. Okay,
No.
I lost track of where we were.
Jad, I heard someone talking earlier. They mentioned the City of the Dead.
Uh-huh.
What's that?
Totally something that Jot 100% knows about.
Jot would know that the City of the Dead is basically the communal cemetery for Waterdeep.
Mhm.
It's a very, contrary to most cemeteries, you have a very forefronted image of them, very creepy and haunts of undead and such can be into it. The City of the Dead is very opposite of that. It's a very beautiful place, gardens all around it and such, with mausoleums to the dead as well as typical graveyards and everything. But a host of workers keeps this place upkept and looking very nice, basically as a celebration of those that have passed their lives instead of focusing on the mourning of the dead, rather celebrating their lives beforehand.
I
So,
tell all of that to Biz.
Wouldn't be a good place to go, like, tell scary stories.
I mean, we
Atmosphere's a
could
little
probably like find a spot that would be like creepy and good for ghost stories, but like mostly it's just really nice and pretty. So we could pretend there's a ghost in our house and tell
That-
ghost stories there.
That sounds terrifying. I don't want to sleep with a ghost.
Wait. There isn't one?
Wait, we have a ghost story.
Oh god, let's not go home.
Somebody just.
Let's go to that place with the anchor in the roof again. That sounds better than here.
I didn't think you liked those people very much there.
I don't, but I don't like ghosts.
I don't think there's. I honestly, I think whoever told Volo that there was a ghost in our house was just like lying. He
Gonna-
couldn't find a ghost, so it's fine.
Didn't we like have some kind of encounter with a spirit in that building?
No, okay. So what happened was that there was a token there that wasn't supposed to be there.
Oh. Okay.
So we
yeah.
didn't
So
actually
no,
find it.
there wasn't any
So
ghost
there wasn't
there.
a
It's
ghost.
fine.
Oh, okay.
No, totally
As
no
of yet.
ghost there. It's okay.
Totally no ghost.
Totally not a ghost there.
All right, let's go home and get a long rest and start a new adventure tomorrow.
Okay. We'll go
Alright.
home.
So heading towards Trollskull Manor then.
Yes.
All right. So you make your way across the city itself.
I'd like to check for traps.
In the middle of the city.
I'm just kidding. The way you were like, as you start to head home, I was like, I'd check for traps. Still check.
Suddenly, the
That's-
city is a dungeon.
This is like, whoa!
The narrator got really dramatic.
It got darker outside. I'm scared.
The drift globes start going out one by one. What's that thing Gandalf has? The clicker thing?
The clicker
Not
thing.
Gandalf.
clicker
Sorry.
thing?
Dumbledore.
Oh, that is super
like, what?
unfortunate.
The Deluminator.
Wait,
Yes, yeah,
why did he roll a
Illuminator, yeah, that
D100
thing was
and got a
cool.
100? That's bad.
All right. So as you're making your way back through, you leave the market and Helga and her delicious nut cheese behind and head back towards Trollskull Manor. It's been a long day, and you want to. I love your shake of disappointment, shoot. It's been a long day. Rest is becoming of you at this point. As you're making your way down Soul Down Street, knowing that's kind of a direct alley or a direct way back up towards where you're going, with Jock kind of leading the way, knowing the ins and outs of the main thoroughfares and such pretty well, being a resident of Waterdeep and such for quite a while. You start making your way through. Everybody roll me perception checks.
That's a drink.
Uh huh.
Rip.
I already gotta go and get another.
Same.
Beer. I'm sad about it.
That was why I went ahead and made another one.
Well, we started a little early, so
I might have to. I have liquor. I could drink some liquor.
There you
I've
go.
got to go and get another drink here soon. So
Yeah, we'll do a small break here in a minute. So as you're making your way through the streets of Waterdeep here, everything seems pretty quiet at this point. You do see random people here and there, other night goers. The North Ward and the Castle Ward that you're making through, you know, is typically a pretty safe place in regards to Waterdeep itself. It's nothing like being down in the Sea Ward, or the Dock Ward rather, or even worse, being out and about in the kind of self-complaining Field Ward or the Undercliff, where it's kind of a bit shady out there with all the butchers and things like that calling that place home. But the North Ward and such is all very tidy and such. As you're making your way through, like I said, seeing random people and such around, you do come upon a bit of a sight that Kai, Viz, and Risk notice immediately. You see this black dog sitting in the middle of the street before you, and you initially don't really pay it too much notice, just because it's a random stray dog, not a big deal. However, as you're moving forward, you see this dog's kind of watching you as you're approaching, and as you get a bit closer, you see its head kind of sinking down a bit, its ears flattening around its back, and it growls towards you.
Risk is gonna get down on one knee. Say, "Oh, who's a good dog?"
Make a persuasion check.
Oh, no.
No, this isn't chance. Risk has good charisma.
With that, the dog looks at you, still growling, its ears flated down as Risk moves forward, taking a knee and talking somewhat calmly to this dog. With that, it looks up at him and everything, and you see it tilting its head aside, and it stops snarling and kind of stands back upright, and it looks over once again, just kind of inquisitively, and then looks past Risk at the rest of the party, and then kind of does the shaking of its body, shaking off anything that was on it and such, and then turns around and heads off into an alley.
Can I
Risk
tell if
Risk
the
is gonna
dog
follow it.
seemed to be hurt or injured? Did it seem like someone's pet? Is it like skinny? Is it a street dog, or is it like
Yeah, I was
someone-
wondering if it was like it looked like well groomed, or if it was like a stray dog. Yeah.
The three of you that noticed it pretty quickly were able to take a little bit of time to look over it, especially Kai, Viz, and Risk. As you're looking at it, it didn't seem like to be a house pet. It wasn't well groomed and such. It had mats of fur and such clinging to its hide. However, it seemed to be kind of well fed. You saw its body was a bit, its belly was kind of bulbous. Probably eating a lot of scraps and such out here in the North Ward or the other wards of the city. Didn't seem to be injured or anything like that. Just seemed to be like a stray dog.
But Risk is gonna start following it down the alley.
Risk, be careful. I heard that there's this thing that dogs can get like sickness in the brain. Like check its mouth for foam, because it can be dangerous, and you don't want it to bite you if it's foamy.
I'll keep an eye out for foam.
Okay. Should we come with? Are we gonna scare the dog?
No, I'm gonna take it home.
What?
Gonna follow a little behind Risk, just kind of watching.
Risk, there are serious implications about just bringing an animal home. What if that's someone's pet? What if there's a little girl that you make really sad because you take her dog, and then we claim it as our own, and then the little cries every night, and she doesn't have her puppy?
She already doesn't have her puppy. It's out in the street.
What if it's going home to its family?
We asked for DM.
Have you talked to him?
Hey, Havoc, while you were gone, we each got 1,000 gold. We just found it. Weird.
About that? Just like, hey, I'm gonna
Rain down
randomly
on us,
restart
that's
now. This is
random.
And kicks Havoc. Nope,
fine.
we got
Okay,
1,000
cool.
gold. It's fine.
Thanks, Discord. All right, so you're following the dog
We got 1,000 gold.
Correct.
now. All right.
I have some cheese that Talia didn't want. Can dogs eat cheese?
Yes, they
so
can.
as you're
Sure.
Depends on what
following
kind of
along,
cheese.
I'm gonna give Risk the nut cheese that Talia didn't want.
Some nuts are dangerous for doggies. Be careful.
so as you turn around, kind of moving towards this alley, it's still somewhat illuminated, not a dark, scary alley and such. However, it's definitely a lot dimmer. It kind of goes on about 50 feet or so before you see it ending at the back of what appears to be a house or a manor. in front of you. And as you're looking down, trying to figure out where this dog went, you're able to see it standing towards the back. You see a few kind of wooden barrels that you assume are either like garbage pails or something along those lines. You see the dog kind of standing next to one of them, and as you all start entering into there, it turns around, kind of sitting back and almost waiting for you. It's almost what it appears to be. It's what it's doing.
Risk is going to approach.
What are we doing?
Give me another perception check, Risk.
Why are we following the dog?
Look how cute it is, Jot.
Talia's nose is totally in the air in disapproval of all of this.
As you're moving forward, Risk, you see the dog kind of standing there waiting for you, and then it slowly begins to approach you.
Remember, don't check for foam.
I'm a little behind this, and
I don't see any foam. Don't worry, Viz. It'll be okay.
Be safe.
Place my hand on my shoulder and cast guidance, and I want to just watch this from a distance.
Okay. Give me a perception check as well.
Okay.
We don't need another animal for the house.
It's just a dog, guys. I'm gonna walk up towards Risk. I've never had a dog before. Never even really interacted with them. My parents would let me
Viz,
have dogs.
give me a perception check as well. As you get closer.
I'm going to be rolling my eyes at them.
Oh, are you a boy doggy or are you a girl doggy? Are you a good dog? I'm gonna start
Risk, you're watching this dog. It begins to approach you, not moving very quickly and such, not really in a threatening manner. You're at least able to notice that. As it gets closer to you, you see its snout kind of raised up, and it looks over towards your hand where you're holding this cheese that was just given to you by Viz. Viz, as you start to move forward, with Kai kind of watching from the back, noticing the dog really isn't moving in a threatening manner, but is definitely approaching Risk. Viz, you're able to see the dog approaching and such, and obviously seems to be intent on the cheese that you gave over, the nut cheese, to Viz, or to Risk rather. But then you hear an unfamiliar sound. You hear little chirps. Listen for a second as you move forward, and you notice they're barks, but very high-pitched ones. You hear several of them coming from back behind where the dog was standing, next to this barrel.
Do you have puppies? Do you have babies?
The dog looks back over to you. Ruff.
Oh my god, are you there, mommy?
Short. The dog. With that, another quick ruff, and then it looks back over towards Viz, or to Risk and the cheese.
Risk is going to hand her the cheese.
I'm going to take all the food out of my bag and pockets. I have 3 days of rations that I bought. I'm going to dump it all out on the ground.
As Risk holds out the cheese, she kind of somewhat daintily reaches up, and you're able to see now, kind of watching her, you do see the kind of expanded teats of the dog, obviously one with puppies. She kind of daintily grabs the cheese out of your hand and moves back, and she immediately just turns around, ignoring you and moving back towards this. And you all start to approach a bit, and you're able to see that this black dog has a kind of mixture of puppies, a litter of them. You see 5 puppies are sitting in this litter in between these 2 kind of barrels. And she immediately sets down the cheese and begins kind of munching on a few places, trying to break it up a bit for these puppies.
Aww, puppy.
Is this like Game of Thrones? Are we all gonna have a little dog protector?
Our own little puppy.
How old do these dogs look?
They're not super young. You look like they're probably about the age where they can actually start eating dry food, or food itself instead of just the milk of their mother. Which kind of leads you to believe that what she's doing is to give them food.
I want to bring all those my 3 days worth of rations and find what I think a dog might be able to eat. I'm assuming the rations is like bread and cheese and meat and like stuff that
like
preserved well,
fruit and stuff like that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna pull that out and here, you can have all of this food. I don't need it. It's yours.
So as you do so, this cheese being kind of sliced up, you see a few of the dogs kind of standing up and moving in that kind of clumsy manner that puppies do, starting to sniff at the cheese and such. You see 3 of them are black. You see 1, 2 of them are kind of just the solid coat black, just like their mother. 1 does have a spot kind of over its eye of this just white mark around its right eye. The other 2, kind of the inverted of the 2 black ones, they're almost solid white with a few little spots of black across them. They all start moving towards the cheese, and as Viz moves up, they all start looking around at Viz, and you see they all start wagging their tails almost simultaneously, seeing the food and seeing the people here and such. Very, friendly. Even
Should we
the
put
mother
them out of their
owls.
misery?
Guys, I love them. I love them so much.
God.
Puppies,
You
do you
hear-
need a home? Do
You hear a little
need
bit more
somewhere
yips
to-
and such as
We-
they see the food.
we
they start
cannot
lapping it out of
afford
their hands.
You house all of these. Do you know how expensive animals are to take care of and feed? We're barely getting by. We should put them out of their misery.
I'll find a way to do it, Talia. I'll take care of these puppies, and I'll love them, and I'll give them a home, and I'll name them, and I'll protect them.
Don't name them. It will just make this harder.
Viz, I'm with you.
Havoc, I'm gonna need you to cue the Sarah McLachlan, please.
Can Viz tell if there's like a shell, like have they like just picked an overturned barrel and made it their home? Do they have like a place to protect them from the elements? Is this like a permanent thing? Are they just hanging out in this alley? Like,
as you're looking
no,
around, as you're
no.
looking around, I'm just sad I didn't think of it first. As
Right.
you're looking around at these, you see that there's kind of a bit of a litter made. These puppies, obviously strays, just sitting here out in the elements. It's nice Mother's Day, but you never know.
I
Tomorrow
like your
might bring
age.
rain, might bring rain or other turmoil, and these puppies are just out here, subject to their own environment. But at least they have a caring mother that is bringing them kind strangers and food for them.
I was gonna
So
mute
you
it,
don't know
but I
exactly
can't.
how long they might actually last by themselves out here. It's Waterdeep, after all. It's a bit of an unforgiving city. But for $2.99 today,
Come home with
you
us.
can-
Mama puppy, come home with us. I don't want to
All right.
leave you out here. It's not safe. There's dangers in the world.
Viz is just literally just sobbing.
Viz is gonna get on his knees and start crying. He's like, I don't want you to be alone in this world. It's cool and dark, and I know what it's like to be alone. And I'll give you a place to live, and I'll take care of you. We have an extra room, and if you want on the main floor, then we can get you a room on the main floor, and we have a whole house, and we'll protect you, and I'll love you so much. Rough.
rough. So yeah, you see these 5 puppies, happily eating away at the rations and the nut cheese that was given to them. The mother does seem, wary. She's keeping an eye on you and such, but she's not threatening, not really moving aggressively. She seems content. Her tail's occasionally wagging and such as she's watching, fawning over these puppies, and Talia gently rubbing the edge of her weapon.
I'm gonna take him home.
I want to see if I can, once they're done eating, see if I can like look at the mama puppy and look at the baby puppy and like see if she'll let me pick one up.
Make a persuasion check.
Okay, we got this, no problem. Super persuasive.
Cassie.
Just the attack in there.
Ah!
So as you move forward, the puppy's kind of milling around. You see one of them, this one with the white with a black spot across its eye, kind of walks up to you, Viz, kind of licking at your boots and such. And with that, you kind of lean over and taking a careful look over toward its mother, you start to pick up the puppy, and she watches you, just that kind of intent watch and everything. But the puppy immediately kind of squirms in your arms a bit. But as you bring it up to your chest, it kind of starts laying its head and nuzzling against your chest a bit and kind of yipping a little bit.
I want to go like this. I love you so much, and you're so fluffy and so cute.
The mother thinks you're eating her baby and attacks you.
I run.
Roll for initiative.
I run with her child. This is my baby now.
I'm
Kai,
not protecting
Kai,
you. No, I'm not
Kai,
protecting.
Kai,
No,
please. Kai, please.
said
Kai, please.
no.
Can we have puppy? Can we have puppy? Can we have puppy? Can we have puppy? Please, please, please.
will I get you to be quiet?
Temporarily.
At least he's honest.
Then I'm sold.
Hey, I'm gonna go up to the mama dog and let her like sniff my hand.
She does so, sniffing you, and you see her looking up to you, and then kind of gingerly licks you on the back of your palm or back of your
Give her some
hand.
little ear scritches.
Ear
Leans
scratches.
into them.
Oh. How big of a dog is she?
She's not Great Dane, but she's not Shih Tzu either.
Mid-sized
She's
dog.
kind of mid-sized dog, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Maybe 40, 50 pounds.
Okay. I'll go pick up a puppy.
Okay.
What color are these puppies?
There are 2 solid black ones, 2 white ones with kind of black polka dots here and there, little smudge marks, and not like perfect circles like a Dalmatian. Or, well, Dalmatians don't have purple circles either. And then the one that Viz currently is snuggling all up on his face and is giving him dog kisses all over his face. It's got that round black spot on its eye.
I'll get one of the solid black ones. And just snuggle it a little bit.
All this puppy talk, my dog keeps looking up at me like, oh my god, girl, you want my lips? And I'm like, no, get down.
The rest two's going to pick up one of the black ones.
Okay.
Look at
There
how
are
cute they are.
2 white ones with spots left.
I want the one that's chosen last. Tell you, we'll get it is like the last. No, I'm gonna go over and pick it up by the scruff. And just, stare at it and be like, how do I hold this?
I
thing?
also want the mama dog.
Yeah. For sure.
As
Right.
as you pick up this, white puppy, it looks kind of scraggly and such, kind of a bit thicker than the other ones. This one seems to probably eat a little bit more than the others, so you kind of assume that this might be the more dominant one out of the others. As you kind of pick it up and turn it towards you, it looks at you, kind of tilting its head to the side as it looks at you, and then kind of with that doggy grin, kind of barks at you.
I'll tilt my head back at it and be like, you'll do. I'm like, put it in my little side pouch that's had out.
They've taken all of the dogs, correct?
Nope,
Nope,
there's one left.
Oh, Jesus.
It's white with a black spot, Kai. Just like your heart.
Right here. Right here. Kai looks at it, looks at Viz.
As you're looking at Viz, you notice something, and you look down. You see your boot is being attacked, kind of in this playful manner, by this last puppy. It's kind of like gnawing on the side of your boot and jumping back and forth around it.
I'll take
Kaya wants to play with you.
I'll take it because it's going to make you happy. And he reaches down and picks up the puppy and looks at it, and I'm sure it like pees all over his hand or something.
Is my puppy a boy or a girl?
It does not pee on your hand,
Okay,
but it
that's
looks at
good.
you. It's still kind of snapping
Confused.
back and forth, kind of looking down at your wrist and everything, playfully snapping at you.
Mhm.
There are 3 girls and 2 boys. Viz, it's familiar because you've heard this several times, because it's one of the Sirenscape overworld ones I use all the time.
Okay. Puppy.
Viz, you have a boy puppy. Talia, you have a girl puppy. Jot, you have a girl puppy. Kai, you have a girl puppy, and Risk, you have a boy.
Risk, how do we get the mama puppy to follow us? I just start like walking down the alleyway towards our home, like seeing a mama dog follows us.
Immediately starts following you.
Never mind, I figured it out.
You're very good at this, Viz. You're a
Hey
natural,
there,
folks.
Joe. Thank you for the host. Very
Oh,
much
Never mind,
appreciated.
not gonna say that joke.
I thought he was going to say, like, I've tamed a few bitches in my life.
I was gonna say, no wonder Talia calls me a bitch all the time. So I decided not to go with it.
And then here we are anyway.
And here we are, anyways.
All right. Anybody else doing anything? Or are you gonna take these puppies back to your home?
Apparently, we're
Throw my
taking
dog on the
puppies.
ground. No.
It's not funny. He's
Uh,
gonna pull the Sarah McLachlan song on again.
it's very tempting. All
I
right.
guess we'll just go home. Yeah.
Okay. So as you start taking these puppies, all of them kind of playfully looking at you and most of them, as you pick them up and carry them, they kind of nuzzle into you. It being late, they kind of snuggle up to you as best they can, closing their little eyes and such with contented sounds. Their mother keeps following along with you, still wary as they watch you, as she watches you taking her puppies, but you gave them food and such, so she has the intuition to think you're decent people. Might as well follow and see what happens. Maybe you'll give them more food.
I give her more pets, like as she's coming along. I'm like, no, come on, come with us.
When we get home, I want to see if the puppies can make it up the stairs because we have to go like the back entrance, right, to our house, like the back of the bar, to get up to the living quarters. We had to like go outdoors or something to get up the stairs. So I want to see if the puppies can make it up the stairs. I want to see at least if my puppy can make it up the stairs. Also, just confirm, you said mine was a boy, right?
Yes.
Okay.
You and Risk have boy puppies. Everyone else has a girl puppy. So as you make your way back to your home, Trollskull Manor here, still, unfortunately, as dilapidated as you left it, it is not miraculously turned into an exquisite 5-star living area. But as you move forward, you walk up the initial steps with the kind of patio out in the front. You see the puppies definitely seem like they could probably make it up these stairs. However, on the backside, as you're going towards the living areas, these are somewhat higher, and these steps are kind of the open ones. Just the wood steps going up. You see that they would probably have a little bit of issue, and even as you try Viz, you see that they're kind of clumsily looking up as you kind of walk up the stairs, taunting yours to follow you. It tries to get to the first step and then sits there and starts whining.
Oh, I'll pick it up and carry it upstairs.
Oh, I was just gonna say, well, let's leave them all downstairs.
Nope.
With their mom.
Never lose inside of it again.
Okay.
With me forever.
Just it's there here. It's here now. Okay.
Wait, first I'm gonna let it go potty outside. I'm gonna walk around, see if it needs to go potty. I got a brand new bed, and I don't want it to pee on the bed. I mean, they're not puppies, so it's like it might understand I pee out here.
With your animal handling check, yeah, it kind of walks around, mills around the outside, kind of out here on the streets.
You too.
And you see that it finally takes care of its business before kind of jaunting up back towards you.
I'll take it upstairs while I think about a name.
Okay. The rest of you?
Where's Mama going for the night?
Mama's still watching y'all as you're kind of taking him upstairs, and you see her start to follow Viz, walking up the steps and kind of getting to the door, and she kind of looks around at the rest of you, not going into the house yet.
Do we have to invite this damn dog in? As I look at everyone else.
I'll pull out some jerky from my pack and go,
Jerky.
Come on.
Do it.
Yeah, maybe it's like a vampire. Invite it in.
Vampire dog. And then we die.
Those aren't vampire dogs. That would be a werewolf, actually.
Look, listen, man. Listen.
I guess I could give you a y'all's token. Kind of seems
Will she come inside?
As she's watching you all, she seems to be kind of waiting for the rest of y'all to come up the stairs, not wanting to lose sight of her puppies. But as you all start walking up the stairs, she moseys on inside through the open door to the upstairs, the second floor. Oh, roll 20. There we go. All right, what y'all's playing now?
I'll look at my puppy and be like, do you want to stay with your mom or with me? Your call.
The puppy just wags its tail looking up at you.
Don't speak dog. Fuck. I don't know what to do. Never had a dog before. I just have an owl.
I'm not even gonna question it, and I'm gonna take my puppy to bed with me and be like, "You gotta learn how to be alone in this world."
I'm gonna invite Mama Dog up to my room too, or the den or something, the hall, like some area.
You see her as she gets into this kind of common room after coming off the stairs. She kind of starts watching as all of you are tending to your puppies and such, and Jot curiously trying to communicate with the puppy. And with that, she kind of lets out this kind of dismissive ruff, and you see her moving over towards the north end of the room, and there's some old sheets or cloths or something like that, and she kind of stands on top of them, moving her feet around, and then does a couple circles, and then lays down on top of it.
I'll pop Seamus out of his pocket dimension. Be like, okay,
We lost the game.
Seamus, this is the puppy. I don't have a name yet.
So we roll 20 here.
How do you feel about the puppy? Is it okay?
Oh, you're familiar.
I know it's just been me and you for a while, but there's a puppy now. I don't know. We'll see if the puppy lasts. We'll see. Okay, we're fine. All right. I just hop on my shoulder. Actually, no. The owl and the puppy, like, because he's tiny. He's a tiny little owl.
He can ride on the puppy's head.
Oh
my gosh!
Your owl now has a mount. Cool.
Most badass owl in the game.
Viz is gonna set his puppy up on his bed, but then Viz is gonna get on the floor so he's eye level. Hey, I think I'm gonna call you Cade, okay? Your name's Cade, and we're best friends now.
Barks at you.
Probably is gonna have to kill it now.
Because mine has a black spot, I thought of so many good names if it was a girl one, because I have a boy one, they didn't work. So he's
Well,
Cade.
if the name is Cade, then it can't last for too long, can it?
At least until the sequel.
Well played.
One should hope that it doesn't become Forsaken.
I'm leaving again.
Yes, I've named my puppy Cade. I want to find some sort of like sheets or pillows or something to make a little doggy bed.
Oh yeah,
If he
have our
gets scared-
beds have our beds been delivered?
Yes. Yep, your beds are all in there. You took care of that during the first day. They were very prompt in delivering the beds since they were already all constructed.
You guys got super comfy beds. You're
So
welcome.
comfy.
Yeah, my bed is so
Courtesy of Kai.
comfortable. But if Kate is scared, I'm gonna sleep on the floor next to him instead. I really don't want him to pee on my nice bed, but I also don't want him to be sad.
He is all about wanting to be on the bed with you.
No.
He
Floor.
looks up at you and tilts his head. And
Are you sure that's what
Puppy dog
John
eyes you.
really say, or was that what Steven would say? I mean, how are you playing your character?
Listen, Kai bought this bed for me, and it cost a lot of money, more money than I have, and I don't want to ruin it with puppy accidents. So let's do the floor for a few days, and then you can come on the bed. But I really don't want to ruin this really nice thing. It's like the single most expensive thing I've ever owned in my entire life.
Kai 100%.
Give me an insight
just
check, Viz.
Puts his puppy on the bed. Doesn't give a shit.
The biggest puppy dog eyes you have ever seen are looking up at you right now from the ground.
Okay, it's fine. Let's sleep on the bed.
It happily gets on the bed and then immediately starts snuggling up next to you, doing the same thing its mother did, kind of spinning around in a circle and laying up against you.
Dear Diary, today I have found a puppy and I've named him Cade. I love him so much, and he completes me in this world. This world is amazing, and I've made the best friends in the entire world, and now I have a puppy, and I love everyone and everything, and it's perfect, and I had some amazing nut cheese today, and nothing in the world can go wrong ever in my entire life. For the rest of my life, everything's perfect, and I'm super happy.
Somebody,
Everybody give me
he can
perception
die.
checks.
somebody
house catches
kills
on
him
fire.
soon, right?
Everybody give me perception checks. Kai, Talia, and Viz. As you're sitting down in your rooms and relaxing with your new friends here, being just fucking adorable, absolutely adorable, cutest things you've ever seen in your life. You kind of lay back in your beds, looking around, enjoying. They're very, very comfy. As you're looking around, you all separately see kind of disturbing sights. Kai, in the window to the north of you, as you're looking towards it, all of the windows in this house just unfortunately have not been cleaned in some kind and or some time rather, and dust and such has kind of covered them over the years. As you're looking over, you see that there's disturbings across the dust that's been moved and changed, and as you're kind of glancing at it, seeing something, you move forward and look a little bit closer. As you do so, you see words traced into the glass of the window. The words say, "Closing time." Viz, as you look in yours, you see words.
One last time for alcohol?
Next to you.
One last time for
You
alcohol,
see-
please.
Last
I was
call.
like, is this a musical episode? Is it?
Today on
You see-
Sealing Dragons, the musical.
Semisonic, you're such a good band with that one-hit wonder. So yeah, Kai, you see closing time. Viz, you see last call written onto your window.
For
with
alcohol?
grimy dust.
Do I see it just appear, or do I see it being written?
No, it was there when you walked in. You just now noticed it as you tore your attention away from the adorable puppy.
Okay, I'll leave it after that. I think
and
there's something.
Talia, as you're kind of relaxing, kind of, half glaring at this puppy and such, you look over at the window right next to you and you see "Get Out" written into it.
You get out.
And with that, we're going to go ahead and take a quick 5-minute break.
Wait, do I see anything?
No.
Nope.
Not with a 5.
Not with a
Oh,
5.
right, I rolled really low. Okay, never mind.
Your windows are too high up.
Okay.
Closing
Drink
time.
So
Alright, be right back.
glad
Give me a
I
drink.
have no spell slots
One
left.
last
guys.
call for alcohol.
All right. I'll be right back, guys. Don't go anywhere. 5-minute break.
Fuck, is there actually a fucking ghost in here?
Yes,
Totally,
there was a
actually.
fucking
Yeah,
ghost.
there
Didn't
was
you
a
see
ghost
that
here
in
the whole
session
time.
like 2?
I
Yeah,
didn't
but
see
three?
the token. My Talia wasn't moved up to have
I-
visibility, so I didn't see the token.
I
It
100%
wasn't
saw the
real.
token, and I was
Yeah,
like, "Oh,
I mean-
what the fuck is that in the center of the
Yeah.
room?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No.
All right. So 5-minute break. We'll be right back.
I'm
Don't go
so
anywhere.
gonna fucking kill Yaroslav, where the fuck his name is.
All right. Think we're about ready to come back.
And then go to sleep.
Everybody good here?
I might
Yeah.
start on that in the.
Let's do it.
Might start on that in the morning. Get some rest, buddy.
Good night, Risk. Sweet dreams.
Night, Fizz. Just across the house. Just gonna shout good night to Kai.
Yeah, Kai didn't hear anything. He's tucked away in the den, petting Mariel.
Yeah. Actually, so Havoc, you said we all saw the words at some point.
Yes.
Viz, you actually have a moment to come over here?
Yeah, sure. I will go across the hallway through the common room.
Oh no! It's just
through Kai's room, down the hallway, and then over to Riska's room.
Kai's just laying back, kind of staring at this odd writing on his window, and turns around when he hears his door open, sees Viz just nonchalantly walking through his room.
Sorry,
going
it's
out
the
the
only
other
way,
door.
only way to get to Risk's bedroom. We're gonna have to knock down some walls, Slayer.
Extremely poor planning looking at it now.
I mean,
How do
the
you get to this
private bath
bedroom?
on the master has two doors like going out to the hallway. I was like, yeah, no.
In the
Let's
design
go
of
into the other one.
Kai is bedding in the den, so I mean it's not supposed to be a bedroom.
Okay, so I get to Risk's room. Hey,
Viz,
Viz.
these words are written into the floor here. I don't. I can't really read Common. I was never taught. I can read in Draconic. But do you know what these say?
Take a look at it. And his says, closing time or get out? Talia says,
Last call.
last call. Risk, this is last call.
I don't recall seeing this before. This is,
I've never even been in my room before. And my window had something somewhere written on it. I think probably just old.
Did we lock the house before we left? Last time we were here?
I don't even have a key
Have
to the house.
lock?
Well, we've got a key. That's what
Oh, that's true. That's true.
Volo gave to us.
Do you have the key?
I don't have the key. I think Kai has the key.
Kai, did you lock the house before we left?
He thinks to himself, did Kai lock the house before we left?
I think that you're all not super absent-minded, so you would have locked the house before leaving.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I locked the house.
He says he locked the house, Risk.
Yeah, I heard.
Oh, that's right, you can't read. You can understand. My bad.
All right. Yeah.
It's weird, so mine was written on the window.
You can understand general language.
It was an honest mistake, Jot. Don't laugh at me from upstairs. I'm sorry, it's late and I'm tired.
What do I see? What do I see up in the attic?
Eventually, you find written on the floor the same words that other people saw, which were "get out."
The fuck?
Well, good night, Risk.
Good night, Viz.
I'm going to. When I noticed the words, do they look? It's on the floor.
Yes, kind of written in the dust.
Okay. I go downstairs.
Creepy attic. No, I'm out. Bye.
Yep. Nope.
As you begin to head downstairs, you start to hear whining coming from behind you as you turn around and see.
Oh
your
no!
puppy
Sorry. I'm
sitting on
sorry.
the
I'm
bed.
sorry. I take my puppy with me.
Okay.
I meant to say that. No,
Uh-huh.
I take my puppy with me. No,
So you forgot.
puppy, you distract the ghost. I'm going downstairs.
Keep the ghosts upstairs. I'm gonna run away. Thank you. Appreciate it.
You'll be fine. All right, let's see. Who's next? Talia's on the third floor. Okay. I go over to Talia's room. Or at least her door. Where's her door at? Right here? Yeah. And I'm like, dunk, 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 dunk. Talia!
I'm gonna crack it and be like, what?
Something was written in the dust in the floor in the attic.
And
It said, get out.
so does mine, and I told them to get out, or whoever. It's probably just someone, probably whatever his name is. That weird guy just trying to mess with us to record something in his book.
Volo?
Yes.
Me?
I couldn't remember his name, and I'm like,
Oh, Volo.
oh, but no, that's way wrong.
One of the most famous mages in history.
You think he snuck into the house while we were getting our asses kicked by that monk guy and wrote, get out on the floor?
I really wouldn't put it past him. What happens if he was just trying to get us to go back to him and pay him to come and help us rid of these people so he can make money?
I feel like he wouldn't have given us the house to begin with, if that made sense.
Seems like an awful lot of work.
Like, why wouldn't he just keep the house? And
Because
just
he can
not
make
pay
money
us?
off of us. Because we would pay him to come here and help us get rid of these things.
I mean, are you gonna pay him to come here and get the things?
No, I would kill him.
Yeah, so I mean, I feel like, I don't know, I don't feel like that makes any sense.
The comment
Have
from
you talked to the others?
the comment
No,
from
because you're the next floor down below me, and they're underneath your floor. So, no, I haven't. I'm just making my way down. I was just kind of
Make my way downtown.
the comment from stream chat is, if you or a loved one has been afflicted by mesothelioma,
mesothelium. That's great. GG's gentleman joke ass.
I'm going to grab my puppy and put my slippers on. Be like, oh, let's go talk with the others.
Okay, thanks. That's what I was kind of wanting to do. I was just really scared. I'm surviving.
I must warn you, I get moody when I don't get my sleep. I'm nice right now.
Oh,
Kai slowly
God.
moves over to his door, reaches up, and click, the door locks.
Oh, well, I'll go on downstairs. Again, like holding my puppy.
It's
And-
snuggled up trying to sleep in your arms.
Let's see. Where do the stairs? Is this? Whoops. Oh, I'm trying to click on the stream. I'm smart. Is this the bottom of the stairs?
No. This would be the stairs here.
Okay, here's the stairs. Okay.
I'll knock on Arist's door because I don't want to listen to Viz. And so I'll knock on his door.
I'll go knock on Kai's door.
Riss doesn't have a door that I.
You have to go through.
Totally saw.
You have
He
to
makes
go
it
through
work.
Kai's room to get to Viz's room. Or to
Wait, what
Riss'
the
room.
heck? I totally just realized that. I
Yeah.
thought that was like,
Yeah, it's
right
really
here.
complicated. Okay, so to get to
So is
to
his
this,
like
you have to
this
go through
secret
here.
room? Is he staying in the red room? It's from 50 Shades of Grey.
It's only weird because Kai made a social space his own room.
He did.
You gotta come through me.
Okay, I'll go behind Jot.
Kai kind of leaning against the wall and kind of playing with
Smoking
Mariel
a cigarette.
here. Here's the knock and says, "Yes, what is it?"
Okay, so did you get writing on like the floor in your room, Kai? Because Tally and I got writing on the floor that wasn't here before. I'm concerned.
He looks.
Do you think there's actually a ghost here?
He looks over to the left, sees the writing on the floor, and says, not that I'm aware of."
Oh,
See, he's not worried either.
Okay, hang on. I'm gonna ask this because I can't get to.
You're gonna scare the poor guy, and he's never going to sleep.
Risk is just
Sorry.
hearing commotion, so he's gonna start working his way downtown, carrying Ollie. Ollie is his puppy.
Wait, where's the? Oh, there's the door. Okay, there. All right.
Big guy.
And
business door.
as Risk kind of walks through, he'll see on the floor about here the writing, and Kai's just not paying any attention to it.
Kai doesn't like that band.
So, what's all the commotion, Talia?
Shaw is worried that there's some ghost or something here because there was writing on our windows.
Wasn't there before? Okay, I didn't write that.
I thought I was writing on my room and Viz's as well.
I think it's just someone trying to scare us and take away from our sleep.
Well, Kai locked up before we left.
How do we know it wasn't here before we left? Before we got
We
it.
looked around we checked the house out. We went, basement all the way up to the 3rd floor as a group.
How do we know there's not someone else with a pair of keys?
I suppose it's possible. Alex, is there dust on the floor as well?
What was that?
I was asking if there's like dust on the floor as well. Like, are we making footprints as we're walking through the house?
That's a habit question.
Sorry,
You asked it in character, so we didn't hear it.
I just let it go. Sorry, I blinked out for a second. What was that? Sorry.
Are we? Is there like a layer of dust on the floor as well? Are we making footprints as we're walking around?
Yes, you are. Absolutely.
Okay.
Tally's gonna bend down and write, "You get out," in the dust, and be like, "Does that scare you guys?"
No,
Honestly,
'cause I've
Talia,
watched you
anything
write
you
it.
do kind of scares me. just a,
No.
Get out. Oh, by the way, Biz, I knocked on your door.
Who is it?
Got.
Hold on. I'm gonna pick up Cade and bring him with me and open the door. Hi, Jack.
Did you have writing in your room, like on the floor or something?
It was on the window.
Inside of the window or outside of the window?
Yep.
Inside. My room was super dirty. Hey, can we all wait for a second? I have a really important question to ask everyone.
Okay.
Risk is going to go
I'm
check the writing
go-
on the floor in Kai's room and see if there's any footprints around the writing on the
My
floor.
arms are crossed, and I'm
No
looking
footprints.
very, very annoyed.
I'm gonna go to the common room or the hall.
Just
hey,
Kai's footprints.
hey
That's all you see.
guys.
Yeah.
Hey, Kai, are you awake? If you aren't, I don't want to wake you up, but I also have a question.
Yes,
He's had people walking in and out of his
And
room
you walk
for
through
the
his
last
room,
30
Tom
minutes.
just staring at
Stop,
you
stop,
while
stop,
walking,
stop,
traipsing through his room.
He pushes the door open. Yes, what is it?
Do you guys want to go to the opera tomorrow? It's in the castle ward. We could get a private box. There's a showing tomorrow evening.
Of all the
Private
questions
box.
that you could
How do
ask
you
me
know
at
this?
this hour,
I have 5 tickets.
Where did you get tickets?
I found them in my room.
And what about our
Just
newly
like just
acquired
now?
dogs?
Oh no, a flying bird brought them to me.
What?
What? It's just hold out my tickets. It's just 5 tickets.
What show is this? Phantom at the Opera?
It says, hold on. Let me read it. He like pulls out this note and he unfurls it out of thirds. Raynar tells us you are a good bet. He bought you tickets for you and your friends to the opera tomorrow night at the Lightsinger Theater in the Castle Ward. If you're interested, meet Mert at intermission. Private box C. Formal attire is required for admittance. And I have 5 tickets. Oh, I should write back and see if we can bring our puppies.
what did you do?
When you say a bird brought it, was it like an actual bird?
No, it's the paper bird.
The paper bird. Okay.
Kai,
I have one of those. See,
Kai
I
slowly
remember.
walks out of his room.
No one taught you not to take things from strangers, you.
Maybe never mentioned strange birds, paper
He-
birds, so it's fine.
He walks slowly out of the room and kind of just one finger, like, kind of pushing Viz back towards the wall and looks at him and says, "What did you do?"
When specifically? You seem upset, and I don't want to answer incorrectly.
The bird brought you tickets. What did you do? Who did you talk to?
They were a gift from Raynar.
I don't believe that.
I was cleaning my room, and I heard a tapping at my window, and I saw a bird, and I love birds. I love animals, and so I opened the window, and then the bird flew in my window, and then instead of being a bird anymore, it turned into this note, and it's the same kind of paper as the bird we have, and it has words on it, and then tucked inside of it were these 5 tickets. I didn't talk to anyone. I'm really sorry, Kai. I thought it'd be really cool if we all went to the opera. It seems great, and we can dress really nice, and I know you love to dress nice, and you have a lot of really nice clothes, and I could go buy some nice clothes, and maybe we could have fun. I'm really sorry, Kai. I didn't upset you.
Kai's gonna look over to Risk and say, "This isn't okay. Someone is following us."
If it weren't specifically from Raynar, not many people know about our affiliation with him.
Well, it's not from Raynar, but Raynar told this person that we are a good bet and that we should go meet Mert during intermission.
Let's see if we can find some information in the morning about who this Mert is. But I'm not getting red flags about this at the moment, personally. I'm a little more concerned about the writing on the wall, and the floor, and the window.
I'm really sorry, Kai. Should I burn him? Should I start a fire and just pretend like we didn't get it? I'm really sorry.
Kai kind of
Let me
pulls.
see the tickets. I want to look at the ticket.
He pulls back a little bit.
No, Ja, we shouldn't have these. They're stupid. We shouldn't have gotten these tickets, and I shouldn't have let the bird in my window. And I made a mistake, and now we're all in danger, and probably bad stuff is happening. And I was excited because I thought the opera was going to be cool, but it was a dumb move, and I probably endangered us all. And you guys are all worried about the writing, and I didn't even think the writing was important, and I'm really sorry.
I'm glad you're learning.
Kai's gonna place his hand on Viz's shoulder and say, "It's fine. Just now is not the time to just let our guards down. Something feels off about this house. Everybody here feels things are not the way they should be. So,
yes, I am missing my sleep, and that is the only feeling I have.
Talia, go back to bed."
Thank you.
How is my puppy acting? I feel like if anything, puppies are going to be more perceptive to evil things in the house.
Not really showing any alarm signs or anything. They just seem really sleepy and are kind of, looking inquisitively around at this group meeting that's happening.
Okay, well, I'll do whatever you guys think is best. If we need to pull an all-nighter, I can do it.
Talia's already went to bed, which is good. That solves some issues. I'm going to look over to Risk and say, we'll figure out about this opera thing in the morning. Yes.
Should we all sleep together in the same room?
No, we should not.
Okay.
He takes a deep breath and thinks for a second and says, yes, I also had wording written on the floor. I was a little entrenched in my own thoughts to really pay any mind to it. And kind of looks into the hallway where Ja is and says, what did you say that you had read? Ja.
Me? Oh, sorry. I thought you were talking to me. It said get out.
Yeah. And
I restart casting Detect Magic.
And Risk, you also saw something, or was that Talia?
There was writing in my room as well. Viz said it's at closing time.
last call.
Last call.
I still think it's really weird that you didn't have any writing in your room at all, Kai.
He
Oh,
did.
I
specifically
did.
said he did.
Yeah, I
Well,
specifically
I was
said.
in a different room. I assumed I didn't hear that.
He kind of clears his throat and says, "I did, but I was not really paying any mind to it. Mine said closing time. Not exactly sure what that means.
With that phrase in it.
Aside from the fact that this is a bar, I don't fully understand all of this."
And Kai, there's no footprints anywhere near that writing in your room other than your own. Whoever put it there did it without leaving a mark on the floor.
Risk, I think you're overthinking it. It's an old house and we haven't even really looked through it. It's probably fine. You specifically said that ghosts aren't a problem for us.
Did I?
Yeah, you and Kai. And Kai, you all said ghosts are definitely not a problem here.
Oh.
I was talking about going and telling scary stories, and you're like, there's definitely not a ghost in the house, Viz. There's no reason for you to be afraid to go in there. And I was like, good, because I'm super afraid of ghosts, and I don't want to go home if there's ghosts there. And you're like, I promise, it's fine.
Well, yeah, no, you're probably right. But, what if, maybe you kind of slept on the same floor at least, just for the night?
Should we all go sleep outside Talia's room?
Do you really... I look over at Risk and say, do you really want to interrupt Talia from her sleep?
Good point. Well, if anyone is nervous sleeping on their own, I'm totally fine, obviously, but if anyone's nervous on their own, you could come to my room.
I don't want to sleep in the attic by myself. Oh, that sounds really good, Steve.
Jot, if
right.
you would
Kate
like...
are going to go into Risk's room.
Jot, if you would like, you can sleep in my bed. I'll just meditate for the night. It's fine.
You're not going to use your bed?
No, I will not.
Okay. Also, still casting Detect Magic.
I'm going to bring Cade to bed so he can share it with Ollie. Ollie is Risk's dog, right?
Correct.
Okay. Ollie and Cade can share a bed tonight. I'm sure the puppies would be scared too. I'm doing this for the puppy, for sure. Not because I'm terrified of ghosts.
Yeah.
Of course. Sam, me too.
All right. Everybody go into bed?
I mean, has 10 minutes passed?
Yeah, you could say
Okay,
you kind
cool.
of chill and, 10 minutes pass, detect magic goes off, and
I specifically want to go look at the writing and see if there's any, magical trace at all there.
No, there is not.
Okay.
Are the
And
puppies
then-
magical?
No, the puppies
Check
are
out the
not magical.
puppies and the mama puppy.
None of which are magical.
Okay. Then I ask if Risk or Kai or Viz or all three will go with me as we walk across the entire house, go in all of the rooms except for Talia's. Maybe we very quietly tap on Talia's room and just if she responds, ask if I can check her room out. If not, we just skip it because I don't want to wake Talia up and make her mad at me. And just go through all of the rooms and just see if I see anything magical. I don't know if this even works for ghosts, TBH, but just checking.
What if instead, God, you just came in here with Risk and I and we just went to sleep?
No, I really want to check the whole house right now.
What if we do it tomorrow before the opera?
What if the ghost comes and kills us while we're asleep?
If the ghost shows up here, I
Okay, I'll
will
tell you
make
what.
sure that it disappears.
Jot, you go to sleep and I'll sit up and I'll take first watch in our bedroom. Just like we were out on the road being adventurers out in the wilderness. I'll take watch and I definitely won't go to sleep. And I'll wake you guys up and then someone else and we can rotate.
Well, we could just check right now.
I'm worried if we wake Talia up, she will literally throw me out a window.
I have the little balcony too.
We can just skip her room. We'll just check everywhere else.
Then what's the point if we're just going to do 90% of a check? Then the thing's going to be in the 10%.
We don't know that.
You're really starting to scare me, Jot. If you really think there's a ghost, then we need to run out of here and we need to burn this place down.
Okay. CD, I think you're muted, by the way.
Hi.
I was. What's the range on detect magic?
It's
Hi.
like 30 or 60.
So if you stood outside of Talia's room, you'd know if there was something in there?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that.
I think we should just check, just real quick.
I mean, to be totally honest, I think it's probably a good idea to just
Yeah, it's
do a
30
quick
feet.
sweep through the house anyways. We just got back.
Something
check-
wrote on the floor.
Hi. Hey, Kai.
Yes, Fizz.
Are there any ghosts in the house?
There's about
Kai
one.
closes his eyes for a second, takes a deep breath. No.
Guys, if anyone's going to be able to send something undead or ghostly, it's going to be Kai, and I trust him.
How sure are you that there's no ghosts, Kai?
Helen's going to roll for it.
Oh no!
50-50. There is or is not a ghost here.
And it's perfect because he's either lying or not lying.
Right?
Yeah, do I believe Kai?
It's pretty obvious that he either doesn't care or doesn't know.
I just feel like we
Or
should
both.
check. Or both, yeah. Risk, will you go with me while we check?
I'll come with you, Jot.
Okay.
I'll watch the puppies.
Okay, we're gonna do what we're gonna do what I said. We're gonna go like through each area, and I'm just gonna try and look and just see if I see any magical-y things.
From
Alright.
turret to basement.
I'm going to play catch with Henry the First to tease the animals. Just like tossing a ball back and forth to me and my unseen servant, so the puppies can chase it back and forth.
The puppies are wrapped up, kind of snuggling with each other and pass the hell out. They're sleepy.
I'm going to play catch with myself.
Okay. For the sake of brevity, you go through the upper floors of the house all the way up to the attic, moving your way back down, kind of tiptoeing around Talia's room, not wanting to disturb her. Heading back outside and then going back down to the first floor to the tap room. And then as you do so, having arcane sight, being able to detect magic and such, you move through and you find nothing magical through the entire house.
That was for walking past Talia's room.
It is a mess.
Almost step on that squeaky piece of like the flooring.
Remember that one floorboard that
Yeah.
was squeaky, so you step over it. And you're fine.
Little do you know, she has like earmuffs that are seashells over her that she hears ocean waves.
Got a little white noise machine going, basically. Okay.
All right, no magic.
Well, I don't even know if this senses ghosts, man. I'll be honest.
I think it was a good effort. At least, like,
Yeah.
let's say if there was something wandering the house right now, the two of us on our own would have been pretty juicy targets.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, I still would like to maybe all stay in the same room.
I think that's a great idea.
Okay.
Okay, let's. Yeah.
Yep.
I'm not sleeping in the attic tonight.
Yeah, I understand. That's a fair
I
choice.
really think, though, like, it's such a cool like spot. Is like,
It's a really cool spot.
I know, right? Like, there's this whole other room. I have ideas about that, and like, there's such a good view out the window because it's so up high.
It's very you. It's very like
Yeah,
As
I
you,
like
as you
it.
guys come back, Risk, Viz is going to kind of wake up slowly and like, any ghosts?
Yes, we killed it.
Ah, are you sure?
No.
Okay. Told you to trust Guy. He's a good guy. He wouldn't lie to us.
I
I'm gonna
think
go
he
back and-
almost just killed you because you got opera tickets.
Cuddle with the puppies.
All right. And let's see. Where are we?
You gotta go
If you're
past
staying
Kai's
there,
room.
you're once
Yeah.
again tricked through
We're
the
just
den.
all gonna sleep on Kai's bed. That's what's gonna happen here.
He offered you his bed, not the rest of us.
Well, the rest of you went towards Risk's room, so
And that little circle part of his room, it's like the Austin Powers round bed.
yes.
Yeah. All right. That's fine. I'll go sleep there.
All right, so everybody going to bed.
Go in the bed.
Kai's just doing his meditation thing.
All right. So with the events of the evening kind of winding down, you're certain that there were some very disturbing messages that seem to have been left for you. You're not sure if they were there before. You hadn't really noticed them prior, but they were definitely noticeable whenever you made your way to your respective rooms before. And during your investigation, Risk and Jot, you did walk around the other rooms of the house, these spare master bedrooms and bathrooms and such. Most of them having windows and dusty floors, but no signs of any messages or anything anywhere else. They seem to be just in your rooms for some reason. But with that, you're able to make your way back in your separate sleeping arrangements. Get some good night's rest, and even with the unsettling times, you did get puppies. And maybe a letter that seems to invite you to this opera, to this play called The Fall of Tiamat. Not too sure what that all entails. But you're able to get a good night's rest, getting the benefit of a long rest to everybody. And you wake up in the next morning. Everybody give me perception checks.
Gotta eventually roll a good one. Not today, though.
You said perception?
Yes.
Let's see. No more mage armor. Tell me about that armor thing.
It's because I went to sleep first.
Yeah, everybody's able to hear this. Those of you on the second floor, able to hear it very clearly. Talia, you kind of hear this ruckus coming down from below you. You all hear loud rapping on the door leading up to the second floor. Just dun, dun, dun. Hello? Hello? Are you awake?
Oh, did Visible invite some of his family?
Does it sound like Volo to me?
No.
Can I tell what it sounds like? Okay, never mind.
Risk, the voice is a bit familiar, though when you're waking, you're not entirely sure who it is. Hello? Oh, the sun's been up for an hour. Wake up!
Risk is opening the door with his right hand. With his left hand, he has it as a hand crossbow, but it's kind of towards like the wall, so it's not seen when he opens the door.
As you open the door, you see a man standing there at the top of the steps, just reaching his hand and fist back to rap on the door again, and he stops as he sees it. You recognize him, kind of a older-looking fellow with this brown hair, kind of combed over to one side. You see it's a little bit mussed up, which makes sense since this is Lester Silvermane, and you know that he frequently populates the yawning portal and such, and stays up kind of late drinking. His eyes are a bit sunken and such. He might be a little hungover, and as you open the door, seeing him there, he says, finally. What took you so long?
Risk is going to stow his hand crossbow and say, Jalith, is this a late night or an early morning for you?
Yes, my friend. The card game happened last night. One thing went to another. We started betting drinks, and here I am now having to work on business while I have a monster of a headache coming on.
That pause on monster? I was like,
I have a monster.
Come in, friend, come in.
headache.
Risk will step back and let him in.
With that, he kind of moves into there. He says, is everybody up? I might have a job for you. If you're bored, have nothing to do here in your shiny new house that I heard you obtained. well, not so much shiny, I suppose.
Shiny.
Or new.
All right, friend. All right. Job, what kind of payment for this job? Like, before anything else, because we can't afford another beaten up house's payments.
With that, Jalister kind of laughs, and you see him kind of laying on the wall. He says, well, let your friends all come in here if you don't mind. This is for the group of you. You see, my employers have heard a great deal. Radar and Volo won't shut up about you. But we've heard about your heroics, saving their friend, and honestly, that's the kind of thing we need on the Lord's Alliance. So we were here to offer a job for you. It's mundane, but if you would want to, of course, once I speak to everybody, do have some employment for you.
I like the sounds of that.
This
is going to kind of...
passes Kai's room. I'm going to give Kai the tickets and the letter.
Okay. Kai will kind of reach up and just pocket them beneath his cloak.
Okay. You have the letter saying what he posted in there, and then 5 tickets. As you kind of glance at the tickets, you do see that there are seat numbers, all of them sequential, obviously right next to each other, but they are not listed as box or anything like that. They're just seat numbers. It says row D, 16 through 21.
Okay.
Everybody making their way to the common room.
Yeah, Risk is going to shout up for Talia.
I was down here. Why are you shouting?
I'm still sleepy. I'm sorry.
Should have gone to bed earlier.
So as everybody makes their way into the room, and Chalice are kind of leaning at the wall, all of you are able to see, this man here. Most of you recognize, if nothing else, in passing in your time in the Yawning Portal. You remember a couple people had kind of known him as an acquaintance and such. Not a whole ton about Jalister. But as you all enter in there, he says, welcome, friends. As I was telling your friend Risk here, I do have a proposition for you if you want to accept it, of course. Don't want to bother you if you are very busy, though with the amount of sleep that you seem to be getting, I think not. But, you see, if you don't know, I work with an organization called the Lord's Alliance. It's a group of esteemed individuals, the wealth and nobles and such, the lords and ladies of not only Waterdeep, but the Sword Coast as a whole. When dire times present themselves, the Lord's Alliance will come together and pool our resources for the greater good and such. The Lord's Alliance itself does employ individuals, such as myself, or you in this case, to take care of jobs and such. My focus being the city of Waterdeep, of course, this being my home. You see, we have a bit of an issue. There have been, as you've seen in your foray into rescuing Floon, seems a gang war seems to be causing unrest throughout the city itself. We have offered protection from this gang war to members of the Dung Sweepers Guild, the ones that clean the city itself during the day. And if you want to accept it, we need some individuals to be assigned to protect a group of them as they go about their work, so they are not roughed up by any unsavory individuals.
I was about to ask us to be part of the Dung Sweepers Guild.
He's not assigning you to be one of the
I was like,
yes,
we're at a low point. I don't know if we're quite.
And as Risk did say,
Can't say no to an on-stage job.
As Risk did say, you were looking for monetary compensation, and I assure you that when you work for the Lord's Alliance, you don't do it for free unless it's absolutely necessary. But this one, we could hire others to do it, I suppose. But I figured this would be a good foot in the door, if nothing else. And, of course, you would be compensated monetarily. I'd be willing to offer 5 gold pieces each for each day that you protect this group of Dung Sweepers. I'm looking for someone for a group to be able to do it for a 10-day.
And what is the time commitment for this?
Well, it's a bit of a time-consuming job, unfortunately. The Dung Sweepers typically get going around 6 bells in the morning just before dawn, and they end at dusk. So basically, your entire day will be taken up by protecting this group. It should be a very easy job. Just watch and make sure no unsavory types, as I said before, harass them as they're trying to take care of their business. But if there is any individuals who are looking to cause issue, then of course you would take care of them, preferably without killing them.
Do we carry any kind of is it known by the city watch that we're doing this?
With that, he nods. Yes, they will be informed. There are several groups of dung sweepers working through the different quadrants of Waterdeep itself, who all proffer protection. We don't need as much in most of the wards here in Waterdeep, but the group that you will be protecting is down in the dock ward, which is a bit more nefarious, I suppose, if you are familiar based on your previous adventure down there. There are more unsavory types down there. Of course, we aren't expecting any trouble, but you never know.
Out of character for Havoc. Would we have time to... So it's until the sun goes down, pretty much? Like, could we make the Opera too?
Yeah, is this a daytime kind of gig, or is it an all-day thing?
He's basically throwing in that it'll start tomorrow.
Okay.
Not today.
Okay.
That was my
It's already
the other question.
it's already
I asked.
after 6 bells in the morning.
That's
so
what I kind of
those-
thought. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. He's already shown up. He says, of course, if you want to accept it, I understand it's not the most extravagant job for a group of adventurers just being hired bodyguards, but it's decent pay, and it's an honest day's work, and once again, it could be easy money if nothing else.
Is it by the water? Being in the dock ward?
It will be near the water, yes, down in the dock ward.
Probably is fantasizing about tackling someone in the water and
That-
drowning him.
No.
Like
Talia.
if something breaks out.
No.
Technically, that's not with weapons. It's not murder.
Once again, preferably without killing anyone. Murder is somewhat frowned upon here.
You're daydreaming. You shouldn't say that out loud.
Is there a reason why members of the Dung Sweepers Guild would be targeted?
With that, he kind of shrugs, says, honestly, no one specifically is targeted him. It's just, there is a bit of unrest, unfortunately, here in Waterdeep with this gang war going on. And, of course, we are working with the City Watch and such, and members of the Lord's Alliance are doing our best to root out what's going on and see if we can quell it. But unfortunately, we don't have enough hands to go around for, unfortunate to say, but more menial tasks, such as protecting these dung sweepers. They play a pivotal role here in Waterdeep,
And-
taking care of these things.
And who would oppose the City Watch or the Lord's Alliance in this situation? I mean, and especially
Openly?
with... Yes, openly. It seems
No
a
one.
little out of place. Well, then we really don't know who would oppose this, I'd say, but
Sounds like easy money to me.
yeah, I
Looking
can't see a
around.
reason we would say no.
I mean, further, I think this is really so the city guard and the city itself can be seen to be doing something, so that there's a presence, that there's a don't fuck with our people sort of presence out and about.
As you're saying that, you see a bit of a wry smile appearing on Lester's face. He says, there's the real reason then, isn't it? Yes, we're doing our best to let everyone know that we are watching, if nothing else. The City Watch and the City Guards are doing their jobs, of course. They're protecting the city, and, no murder sprees and such are happening. But, as I said, we are a bit limited in our resources when it comes to this. We can't assign a group of City Watch to protect every dung sweeper out there, unfortunately.
When you mentioned the gang war, Jalister, is it certain groups or is it like a new thing?
It's a recent development as far as we can tell, at least to the point where it's getting to the surface. What's been happening below the city, I have no idea. We have informants and such, but nothing really caught our ears until just recently, and there's been some fighting
who are
on
the
the streets. Well, there's the Zentarum, supposedly, though, of course, everyone denies their affiliation when captured and questioned. And then there's others, this other guild. We've only heard rumors and whispers and such, but anyone we try to capture and interrogate is tight-lipped, or they've been found to kill themselves, a manner of some magic or poison of some kind, whenever they're to the breaking point. Very fervent.
based on my knowledge with the Thieves Guild, would I understand what's going on with that?
To a point, you know that the Zentarum, while some do definitely proceed in nefarious business, they do have an upfront kind of thing of selling mercenaries and such like that. They typically don't fight in the streets and such, though. They're very careful about not drawing attention to themselves.
I think I'm more referring to more willing to take their own lives than to give up information.
Typically not.
Okay.
They're typically like hired hands, mercenaries, things of that nature. You know, whoever's giving them money, that's who they're loyal to. But they value their life above everything else, typically.
Gotcha. Okay.
The Zents are the ones that are doing that upon questioning?
The Zents are typically pretty loose-lipped after you threaten them with a hot iron.
So not, okay, that's what, okay.
Mhm.
These other guild members, well, some of them have shaved heads and these odd tattoos with circles upon their heads. It's very strange and not something we've seen a lot of recently, but they're the ones that seem a bit more radical in their beliefs.
Jallister, does it look like this?
Yes.
Then he looks at it and says, yes, we've heard that they call themselves the Xanathar Guild, though what exactly it is, we're not too sure.
They're in
At
the
least as of
sewers.
yet. Yes, we've heard that as well. Then we have sent a few teams off to investigate, though not a lot has been turned up. The sewers are a bit of a maze, unfortunately, under the city itself.
God,
Takes quite some time to
What's that
investigate.
thing called? With
Have-
the squid face?
Have you heard what sort of things the Xanathar...
John, what was it called? What was it called? You told me that name.
There was an intellect devourer
Intellect Devourer. He's in the sewers.
and a mind flayer.
Oh, Mind Flayer. Yep, that's the squid guy. He's got all, he's all purpley. He tried to kill me. We fought him. Well, really, we fought a brain thing, and then I latched onto my face, and then I woke up in the Yawning Portal.
Yes, I heard about that. Like I said, we are investigating it. We've heard
That wasn't
the
super
story.
useful information to you? I didn't just drop like a knowledge bomb and change the whole investigation?
With that, he kind of shrugs. Says, "I have spoken to Raynar, who was present for all those events.
God damn it, I thought I was being useful.
debriefed him. I appreciate it, and of course, any insight you can provide to this would, of course, be invaluable to the Lord's Alliance. But as of right now, we do have teams taking care of it, investigating this issue, trying to get down to the root of it. And of course, maybe you will be added into this investigation at a later date. But as of today, once again, a foot in the door, as it were. We're looking for some bodyguards.
Count me in.
I'm willing to do the job. Do you know of someone named Grumshar?
What was Grumshar? Is that the
You guys don't know, I don't think. You don't know who that is.
I don't know, I've never heard that name before. Maybe I have.
If you ask me about it later, I'll tell you. But I think Jot's the only one that actually knows his name.
With that, Jallister kind of squints his eyes, thinking for a moment, kind of looking silly, shakes his head. Haven't heard that name, unfortunately. Is it somebody I should be aware of?
I think that they're a half-orc.
Well, if you have information, girls, spit it out.
Well, they're not really
Whoa, she's
a
shy,
problem
okay, Jallister?
anymore.
Don't come up on her.
But I think they might have been someone who was involved with the Xanathar Guild.
And you said they were deceased.
Probably.
Daddy thinks it's, I'm not sure how a deceased individual will be of help to me.
I didn't
but-
know if it was like you knew the person and then you'd have like they have like a network of friends that you would know. I don't just tossing out there. I don't know.
Unfortunately, no.
Okay. Well, sorry.
Then
So with
what,
that, he kind of
what about Mert?
Mert. Talking about that old drunk.
Yes, what do you know of him?
Well, Mert is... he's known by a few names. He's a man that's been around for a little while. Was called, let me think. Mert the Merciless and the Old Wolf were things that he was called long ago. He's a bit past his heyday. He's a well-known figure around here in Waterdeep, though. He's carved out himself as a retired adventurer as well as a philanderer, very wealthy individual and such. He's a charismatic fellow, I suppose. Says more than he should sometimes, I think, but at the same time, he's a good man, all in all.
Is everything okay, Viz?
Yep, everything's fine. The Merciless sounds like a wonderful name of a person that I hope to never meet.
Sounds like I might like them.
God damn it.
As you say that, he shakes his head. Once again, those were his names quite some time ago. He is retired now, and I think he could maybe still hold his own in a bar fight and such, but he kind of sombers in his expression.
He got fat, didn't he?
With that, he nods. He says, yes, he's a bit portly now. He hasn't been quite the same since his wife Asper passed away several years ago. Since then, he's unfortunately kind of let his estate run away from him and spends his nights just, on drink and debauchery and such. Like I said, a good man.
He sounds like a weak man.
That he kind of thinks.
Wonder what they used to call
weak man.
What they used to call Hlam. Because based off his previous nickname, I would say, I don't want to meet him either. And then that old man kicked my ass. What did you say his wife's name? Was it Jesper? Mertz. Deceased wife.
Asper.
Asper. Okay.
I had Astra. It was close.
I wrote Esper.
Esper. She was not an Esper. So with that, he says, well, that's enough lore and such, I guess, around the city, unless you have any other prominent individuals you would like to know about. But it seems you are all on board for the job tomorrow.
Oh, wait, Chester, there's one more thing.
Yes.
Biz is going to run out of the room and come back with Cade. I got a puppy!
Oh, that's a magnificent little beast you have there. What's his name?
Cade.
Ah, that's a
I'm
good,
gonna
strong name.
Hold Cade up and let Cade lick him in the face and snuggle on.
With that, Jalister kind of leans his head back, just kind of letting the dog lick him and stuff and scratches him on the head. Seems like a very charming individual.
I looked in the book that you said was super important about like the guide to Waterdeep, and it didn't say anything about pets. So, is there something I'm supposed to do now that I have a pet? I mean, I don't want to say pet, more like life companion. Like, we're best friends forever now, and I'm going to protect him from everything in the world. Do I need to do something here in the city to let, like, people know they're my pet and don't take them or I'll kill you?
You pick up after your pet. That's literally all you have to do.
With that, Jalister kind of nods. Says, yes, your friend Kai is correct. Pets are not frowned upon, of course. Nothing wrong, no fees and such. Just, keep it civil. Don't leave their messes on the street and such. It just gives the dung sweepers more work, and we wouldn't want that.
Can I bring him when we protect the dung sweepers?
That he kind of shrugs. I don't see why not. It could be hazardous if anybody does try to attack you or any fights break out.
I'll kill them, Jalister.
Okay, I believe you, Viz.
Did Viz miss his nap today?
He just woke up.
Not
Must
the
not
morning
got
person, I
great
guess.
sleep.
It's one thing we have in common.
Thank you, Jalister, for the job offer. Where should we
Jalister?
go? Where should we go
Yeah.
tomorrow? Just the dock ward and just find the dung sweepers and then protect them? Is there like a
Follow.
a guild master that we should talk to?
Yes. You need to meet them at the Mule Skull Tavern on Ship Street in the Dock Ward. Meet them about 6 bells or so. It's quite early, but good to get on a regular sleeping schedule, I suppose. And you just need to guard them while they work. and just do this every day for a 10-day, and by then I should be able to round up a few more individuals to help with this task. For the foreseeable future, I would like them to have protection, but I couldn't get anybody at short notice and figured might as well ask you.
Thank you.
Daddy nods, of course. Once again, 5 gold pieces for each of you, of course. Each day you protect them. If you do have other pressing matters, I'll understand. I would very much like it to be taken care of for my sake. I do have a lot of logistics to figure out to provide protection for all the dung sweepers here in Waterdeep. And as he's saying this, you see his face kind of draining of life a bit. It seems to be a bit of a monumentous task. And with that, he says, but if you could help me out with this, I promise you'll be paid. And of course, the Lord's Alliance takes care of those who take care of us.
How many of us do you need there at any given time? For instance, what if like 3 of us showed up one day and 2 others had to take care of some business? Like, as long as we have representation there, are we covered, or?
Well, I can't really offer payment for those that don't work.
Of course. I just mean for, like, would you be comfortable with 3 people guarding them on a given day if something arose?
I don't see why not, as long as they have some form of protection. That seems adequate enough.
Of course. And then, obviously, not asking for payment for people who can't be there, but just in case, as long as we do have representation there, we should be okay.
Right, yes, of course.
As far as favor for, putting a good word in for us with the city watch and whatnot.
Of course.
Okay.
With that, he nods once again. He says, well, once again, Millskull Tavern, in the dock ward. It's on Ship Street. 6 bells in the morning, bright and early. Don't come looking for me. I'll probably be sleeping with another hangover.
Well, you're not hungover when you're asleep, but I do got one more question unrelated for you, Jalster. Where can we find some new clothing? Some more upscale stuff?
With that, he thinks for a moment. He says, well, there are a few places. The North Ward doesn't have many businesses in it, as I'm sure you've seen as you've been walking around it, mostly households here, but I'm sure you could find something somewhat decent in the markets or down in the trades ward. There are many different tailors and such down there, all of them able to make upstanding attire.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your assistance, and we're looking forward to getting to work and helping the city stay safe.
With that, Jouster kind of, half bows to everybody, says, thank you. Your service is going to help me out a great deal, and I appreciate you not taking this on such short notice. With that, he nods to you once again and says, with that, I'll take my leave. I will see y'all soon, I hope. With that, he bows once again and walks out the door.
See y'all, we're going to get some money.
Yeah, that's great.
I need some new clothing.
Yeah.
What are we going to wear to the opera tonight?
That's what I'm wondering.
We need nice clothes.
I don't even know if we're going. It seemed like a really bad idea.
Why is it a bad idea?
Because I thought it was a bad idea. I thought it was too dangerous.
Why would it be dangerous?
It's less about it being a bad idea. It's more about the fact that it showed up at random at your doorstep.
Admittedly, that is odd. I will give you that.
Well, those
But it was
birds, right?
Yeah, that was the paper bird thing, right?
You speak a name and delivers.
Yeah.
You don't have to know where you are.
Yeah, it just goes and finds you, right?
But didn't we find that bird paper in a house that was
Yeah,
torturing?
he made his
Different
own.
paper bird.
He made his own, and that does not make it set any easier with me.
And further, we kind of did go around telling people, a lot of people, like a fucking lot of people that we live here now.
Of people.
We weren't very discreet about it.
Did we? Wait,
Look at me, look at your house.
Were we wanting to be discreet about where we lived?
No, I'm just saying that I don't think it's very difficult to find us right now. We literally told someone who sells information where we live.
He's our neighbor. We were being neighborly.
Of course. I'm not saying it was the wrong thing to do.
Not saying it's the right thing to do either.
I'm not saying that either. I'm saying we can't really be surprised if people know where to find us.
Hey, did you know there's a text tool in Roll20? Like if you click the paintbrush, you can just click the type tool.
Yeah. Uh huh.
Yeah.
Actually,
Yeah.
with that, can
Yeah,
you
I did.
erase my terrible
did.
handwriting?
Yeah, I'm looking at Jot's scribbled handwriting. Like, you know you can just type that out, right?
Oh, there we go. Hey,
There you go, fix it for you.
Just scroll
Let's
down, look
type
at it.
that.
I thought it
As
was
Viz
cute.
also has writing over here. His looks markedly better, though. No offense.
Oh no, business looks great. Mine is terrible.
Mine's text. I didn't draw that.
Oh,
She was a doctor. She was a doctor. It's also bad handwriting.
Yeah,
I was like, that's
exactly.
not Steven's handwriting. You wouldn't be able to read it.
How did you
All
write
right.
that then? Oh, you just did
It's
it.
typed.
Never mind.
different font. All right, so you've been offered a job. This one with payment. Crazy.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
What do you want to do?
Shopping montage.
Oh, yeah.
And by shopping
Oh,
montage, I
can't
mean
walk.
we find the nicest clothes we can possibly get for 1 gold.
Talia still has money.
Okay, so y'all want to go buy nice clothes?
Yeah, Risk is gonna go grab Ollie and gonna go find some clothing.
I'm assuming based on background that I should have noble clothes.
Yes. Yeah, you should have some nice attire.
I have a set of fine clothes from my diplomats pack, but I don't know if they're like really in season now, and I don't really know what's hip and trending among the nobles in Waterdeep. So I do want to shop around to make sure I find something so I'm not sticking out. I don't want to be out of fashion.
Right,
Okay.
right. Yeah, if you're wearing.
Yeah, definitely. If you went to like a tailor shop, they could tell you too. Show them the clothes and be like, "Hey, is this in season?" Could do that.
It's after Labor Day. You can't wear white.
Yeah, right. All right. So, where do you want to head?
Talia would have clothes too because she has a noble background.
Okay,
Okay.
so Havoc, it was a normal size, and then I clicked out of it, and it was teeny tiny, which I guess is actually appropriate. So
I mean, it all makes sense.
my name is literally like a millimeter tall.
We'll fix it there in a minute. All right. So, you know that there's lots of places to shop here in Waterdeep. It's a bustling center of commerce. So you got the market down in the top of the castle.
way
ward.
up here.
The Sea Ward does have a few places here and there. North Ward, not so much. And then, of course, the Trades Ward, where many options will be presented before you.
Mhm.
How in depth do y'all want to get into the clothes shopping?
Well, Risk has something kind of specific he's looking for, so
All right, so we'll full RP it then. We'll just glaze
Yeah.
over it.
Do it.
Yeah.
Because I'll
All right.
probably pick up something too while we're
because
there.
Havoc loves shopping sessions.
I do. I apparently
As
do.
very obvious from our fucking
So
Tuesday
I'm not gonna
session.
say what it is. But Cassie and I just both talked out loud about what we want to see Risk in. We both have ideas in our head about what kind of swag Risk will wear. So excited to see where you go with this.
All right. So as where do y'all want to go once again? Market, Trades Ward, find somewhere else.
I think the Trades Ward. It's also close to the Yawning Portal, so we can just head it down in.
Turn into the new Manchuria. Everyone wants to talk. To
We
All
haven't made it to talk to him yet, okay?
All right. So as you make your way down to the Trades Ward, just shops everywhere. Anything you could possibly find. You find magic shops, general stores, potion shops, alchemists, apothecaries, arcane shops, pet shops, food shops, everything you can think of.
Every
down
magic
there.
shop we walk past, Risk is going to just gently guide Jot away from the
I was
door.
gonna say you have to drag me away.
Yeah,
from
just
the-
Jot's walking by, sees one named Wizards of the Coast, and is like, "Ooh, that looks fun." She watches by another one called Discount Enchanters, and thinks, "I might be able to afford something there," and gets guided away very quickly. Another one
As
called
soon as we have money, Jot, we can come back.
Oh, okay.
I will chip in for your first big purchase.
Okay.
another
what
one
we
called
do-
Tomes of Plenty that catches her eye, but she's quickly led away once
Wait, I'm
again.
gonna write all these names down, Havoc.
It's fine. I have this page bookmarked. So,
Okay, good.
as you're looking around, you're
What
able to
order
find
are
a
we
few. Huh?
What ward are we in?
What?
We
Oh,
went
you're
to
in Trades
the
Ward.
trade ward.
Trades.
Trade Ward.
Yeah, y'all are down here now.
I
So walking
just
around
have-
the Trades Ward along the high road as well as the Way of the Dragon here, the main thoroughfare is very busy. At this point, the hustle and bustle of Waterdeep being going on at full strength at this point. lots of carts and such. You have to kind of stay to the sides of the sidewalk where the traffic is ever flowing in one direction or the other. Lots of people and such, but lots of shops and places to spend your money if you want to do so. As you're walking through, you're able to find a few like leather worker shops as well as tailors and such. You found one that catches your eye, mostly because of the humorous aspect of its name. The shop is called Now You Die, but die being spelled D-Y-E. The first one that kind of catches your eye. You see another place, seem to be primarily working on leather garments and stuff, based on what's in the window, called the Crying Cow.
Make sure we keep that in mind when we start the brothel.
Let's see, what else do we got here? So not a lot of shop names on here for this. Yeah, we'll say you center on this one called Now You Die, just because they have some kind of extravagant looking robes and tunics and such in the window. Dyed this assortment of colors, very eye-catching and very bright and a bit obnoxious, but obviously caught your eye. So with that, you head into this place. As you do so, you see an elf standing behind the counter. You see he's moved behind what appears to be a mannequin sitting behind there, and he's carefully moving a thread or a needle through some thread of his tunic that's kind of half sewn up. The cloth and such has been dyed this kind of woodlands green, sitting atop the mannequin, and he's kind of stitching up the sides to this particular size. And as the door opens and the little bell chimes and such, you see him stopping what he's doing, holding the needles to one hand. He says, yes, come in, welcome to the dye. Give me 1 second, please. And with that, you see him focusing once again, getting the needle just right, and then slipping it through. And with that, he takes it and sticks it over the top of the mannequin, and kind of wringing his hands, turns around and says, yes. Oh, quite a few of you here. What can I help you with?
Well, we are attending the opera tonight, and going to have some pretty nice seats from the sound of it, and looking to be appropriately dressed for the evening.
Yes, the one at I believe it's the Light Singer tonight, if I remember correctly. Very formal event, a lot of the higher brow, and he kind of glances around at you. Most of you looking fairly presentable, but definitely clothes you've worn before. With that, he looks and says, yes, you will need something a bit more and more extravagant for this. I can certainly help you with that. Anything in mind for each of you? Anything you have that you want specifically? Or if not, I'm sure I could find something in your size that I could offer you.
Well, I think specifically the first thing that I'm looking for is I wear a pretty low-key leather armor underneath my day-to-day clothing. And I'd like to be able to continue that. So I'd like to get something that's at least loose enough to not show that I'm wearing armor underneath my clothing.
And with that, he nods, says, I think I have something for that. You see him turn around, and as he does so, he starts looking around the room, and he walks around the counter and over to the far side of the room, opposite the door was kind of on the right, and he walks over to the left of the room. You see him eyeing this mannequin with this full suit across it. You see black, not quite velvet, but definitely this soft material going across it. But you see as it's sitting on the mannequin, it's very loose and not quite form-fitting onto it. As he points to it, he turns back around towards you. He says, this one's very popular with mercenaries, bodyguards, things of that nature. Well, it doesn't provide any body armor itself. I'm not an armor smith, unfortunately, but this fits quite nicely over leather armor, studded leather. I've even heard of some people squeezing in, half plate underneath it. Wouldn't recommend it personally. It's make it look kind of odd with the bulging chest and such. But if that's what you want to go for, that's fine. But once again, this is very popular and, of course, is in style, right?
I'm looking for something. You may have heard of him. There's a bar I saw perform once. Very kind of badass individual, I guess. His name was Johnny Coyne. And very kind of walk the line kind of guy.
I got you. I see what you're putting down there. With that, he thanks for a moment. He says, Johnny Coyne. Yes, I've heard of him, actually. He performed a few times. There was actually a show of his in the market. It was a very extravagant affair, and there were some incidents that people had too much to drink, as well as some other Oh, unsavory collectibles for your body were consumed during this, and there was a little unease, but it's fine. I think they called him the Man in Black, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
That's the one.
Yeah,
That's the one I'm looking for.
We all hear the wagons coming.
I was mostly more of a fan of one of his later hits. You know, that's the one about the fire, the wagon wheel of fire, something like that.
That was
Wagon Wheel of
fantastic.
Fire definitely was the name of the song. for
With
sure.
that, he thanks for a moment. He says, "I might have something." With that, he turns around again, and you see him moving over to these like folded shirts and such. And he holds up one, and it's just a solid black. You see that the top buttons are kind of missing for the most part, kind of letting it where it would hang open naturally. With that, he holds it up and looks at it. And he says, "I think," and he walks over to your wrist, and you see him kind of draping it over next to your shoulders, kind of feeling up against you, and holding it there for a second. He says, "I think I could move this up a little bit to be able to compensate for some armor, and, well, I mean, I think it would look pretty decent, and honestly, it's very much stylish. I think you would pull it off quite nicely."
I think it's perfect. How much are we looking at for that?
With that, he kind of shrugs, says, "Well, get you that there, and maybe some," he looks down. So I think I have some black slack-like material that I could fashion some pants for you and complete the whole ensemble, of course, with some stylish boots for it, also in black, of course, after the man himself. I think, one silver piece would be plenty for the entire ensemble."
Perfect.
That he nods, says, "Very well. You'll, of course, give me a few minutes to get it up there once I get everyone's orders, but if I'm not accustomed to making anything, it won't take me very long at all." With that, he looks around, says, "Anybody else have anything in particular they're looking for?"
If none of you, yes.
Oh, no,
yes,
Viz.
Viz. Go right ahead, please.
"Yes, young man."
I'm looking for really kind of like stretchy clothing. Like I have a brother, and he's really close to me in my size, but sometimes he's a little taller. Sorry, he's always a little taller, and he's a little thicker. And then I also have a younger brother who's a little shorter and thinner than me. So like if we all wanted to be able to share clothing, like something that would kind of stretch so that, you know, whichever brother was wearing it.
With that, he thinks, says, "Want something that can adjust a bit to different sizes?"
Just a little bit, not too
Just-
much, but yeah.
Just a little, of course. Yes, for any reasons that may be for that, I can understand that, and it's not an uncommon thing that some individuals request. It's happened a few times before. I do actually have a special makeshift, and with that, he turns around. It is made of some rarer material, so it is a bit pricey. Unfortunately, I can't sell the ensemble for less than a gold piece. But with that, he goes over, pulling out once again from this folded pile. He moves a few shirts and pants and such out of the way, and then pulls out. Says, "This right here, it's made from an animal. Its properties allow it to change its shape a bit." Depending on its environment and such, and we've found ways to make a type of leather from that, though. And as he holds it up, he kind of shakes it, and you see that this material is not leather-esque at all. It doesn't, it's very loose and flowing and such. He says it fits comfortably, it breathes quite well, and it does. And with that, he kind of pulls on the top shoulder, and you see that it stretches out about 6 inches or so, and then snaps back to its form. He says it does get a bit more form-fitting and tight as it does grow larger, but I assure you that its comfort will not change. And as he looks at it, you see that the material itself is colored in this orange and black kind of crossed it. The orange kind of set in like highlights across it with like lines going down and such, kind of not quite a striped shoot, but very similar to that. He says, of course, very much in style right now. The bright colors used in a subtle way are very much hitting the trend right now. No capes.
I'm posting a picture in Discord. I want to make sure it doesn't look like that.
It does not look like that. The orange isn't even that bright. It's like a burnt orange a bit.
I think this part looks great. I think I probably need some sort of accessory, like a really nice hat, or a necktie, or a cummerbund. What's in season right now? What's in style?
With that, he thinks for a moment. He says, well, ties were very much last month, but I think
Stupid ties.
Your cummerbund idea, though, that would is very much set a statement with this, somewhat elegant ensemble. With that, he turns around. You see him going through a bit. And with that, he pulls out this white cummerbund that has a few frills across it, but not like what you're seeing in that picture. It's not just... it's very soft and wavy across it. He says it's very simple, but yes, and yet as he takes it and you see him kind of sliding it down into the middle of this jacket-like piece of the garment that he showed you, he says it fits nicely into there and it sets off the colors within it quite nicely, I think.
Okay, I'll take it. 9 silver.
With that, he says, well, the material, as I said before, is quite rare. Make a persuasion check.
And for 9 silver, I would love to come back if you are able to make a more casual set of clothing with the same kind of material. This is for fine experiences, but I would need something in day-to-day wear as well. That's 18 silver for you.
With that, he thinks for a second. He says, normally, I wouldn't sell this for any less than a gold piece, a gold dragon, but you've bought a man in black, pointing over to Risk. Reminded me of some fond memories from my younger days, and you all seem like upstanding individuals and going to the opera, and I couldn't have anyone seen in anything less than the best from my shop going to the opera tonight, so I'll take you up on your offer. 9 silver for it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. What is your name?
Havoc throws up the middle finger.
Taylor.
The store's called Come In and Die, right? Or Come and Die, or Come In and Die.
Now you die.
Now you die.
With that, he looks at you and says, oh, I apologize. I excuse my poor manners. My name is Luel Ravari.
The Risk is going to kind of put his hand on Drots and just hand a gold dragon to pay for their clothing, because his was 9 and Risk's was 1. So that's 1 gold, right?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah,
so Risk is going to cover their wares and just hand over a gold piece.
With that, he nods. Luel looks at you both, nods. Thank you very much. And the rest of you, I assume you're all going to the opera, so what else would you like to be adorned in?
Kai looks at both Talia and Jot first.
Don't all speak at once.
I have my gown. I don't need your stuff.
Oh, snap.
Very well. If you're very proud of your garments, I'm sure they are the most utmost quality.
They are.
I was just thinking, just fairly simple dress.
So I was thinking crop top, skirt with a slit all the way up.
Yes.
Just as scandalous
100%.
as the gnome could possibly be.
Scandalous little
I have a
tiny
TP all the way down to my belly button. That's what Jot wants.
She uses magic to keep it closed, so no
just
nip
simple,
slips.
fairly loose skirt, easy to move in, basically. Maybe what color? Maybe a nice navy blue color? I don't know.
Great with my orange.
With that, he nods. Says,
What did you say?
I said that'll go great with my orange.
Oh, we forgot you have orange.
With that, Luel thanks for him a second. He says, dress, functional, navy blue. Any other requests, any frills, anything of that, or more simplistic in its style?
Simple.
Simple, but yet makes a statement for the young lady here. Let me think. 1 second. And with that, he walks back around the counter. You see him disappearing through a back door. Gone for a few seconds, and then he comes back, and he's holding this, not quite fully navy blue. You see white highlights going down the arms and such, but navy blue kind of accenting the center and such. You do see a few frills kind of on the shoulders, but mostly just kind of laying over as the accent piece on the shoulders themselves. You see the dress is not floofy. It's a kind of contained one, but still very flowing and such as he moves it forward. He says, this may do. It does have a little bit more extravagance than, of course, you asked for, but I think it definitely says a statement for a pretty young lady such as yourself. And once again, very functional. And, of course, as everything here in the die, it is in fashion and, of course, going to be admired by everyone.
That seems quite nice. How much is it?
With that, he says, it is an extravagant dress, of course. I did take a little bit of time onto it, so it will be a little bit more. It'll be 3 silver pieces for it.
Oh, that's fine. I'll give him 3 silver.
All right. That he kind of folds it up gingerly and such and sets it up for you and then hands it over and takes your money.
Hey.
With that, he looks over and said, and yes, you, individual, you gentleman, what is it you're seeking out?
Wow.
Looking at Kai.
Kind of looks around, well, seeing how you are so easily welcoming these challenges. How about this? And he begins to describe this cloak, long sleeve, kind of like a deep purple robe that buttons down the center, and has almost like a scarf kind of drape that kind of goes over the shoulders and drops down in front in like a gold color. Begins to describe it. Basically, it is this with a gold kind of drape in the front.
I was about to ask if you were going to Lord of the Rings.
He absolutely was.
Yeah.
The mental image of like, that sounds like maybe Elrondish. Like
absolutely. And that's exactly what he was looking for, but he's looking basically something that just looks very kind of plain and simple, but is eye-catching at the same time.
Like the material is like the best part. Yeah.
As you're asking that, Lewell thinks for a moment, says, giving me an actual challenge. No, I appreciate that. Exquisite tastes, I see. Let me think. There are... That he smiles. I think I'll have to go to the back stock for this one. And with that, he walks over and you see this large wardrobe sitting on the side of the room that he hasn't walked over to or anything like that. And as he does so, he pulls these large, about 6 feet tall, each doors open. And as he does so, you see just, gowns and dresses and tunics and such all kind of hung up in an array. And as he reaches into it, you see him grabbing hold of not quite a lever, but a handle. And with that, he pulls out, and as he starts pulling out, he starts walking. This place is about 15 feet wide. He walks out the entirety of the room, pulling out this one bar that seemingly couldn't possibly rest inside this maybe 2-foot thick wardrobe. As he pulls it out, you see just exquisite gowns, dresses made with nothing less than gold filigree going down the sides of it. You see this, very exquisite, exotic clothing. You see stuff that some of you, as you look at it and imagine people wearing, kind of makes you blush a bit, as it would leave nothing to the imagination. But as he goes through it, he starts thumbing through it, pulling this one out, and with that, he takes the whole ensemble and starts pushing it back into the wardrobe, and then pulls out the left side, doing much the same. He says, "Where did I put that?" And with that, he finally finds it. He says, "Here it is." And as he's pulling it out, he pulls out this very close to what you were asking for. You see that the gold is for the sash, this kind of scarf that's going down the sides, is a bit more greenish hue to it, almost emerald, going along with the purple of the I'm going to say gown, but you understand what I'm saying. And with that, he kind of points and he says, not quite the colorations you were asking for, but this piece was actually something I obtained in the Misty Forest. If you're not familiar with that, that is a home of many wood elves and such, and King Meladrish himself resides over that area. And this was a token of their gratitude to me after I made a visit out there, selling some of my wares back a few years back. Once again, I apologize. It doesn't quite meet the coloration you were asking for, but I think very much that's a statement of simplicity yet elegance.
Yes, well, that should do just fine. And how much would you require for such services?
With that, he thanks. This is a bit of a piece that is a bit close to my heart, but of course, an individual who asked for almost this exact thing seem to know your tastes. I'll charge no more than 2 gold pieces for it.
Ah, very well. I would have it no other way. And he reaches in and grabs to his pouch and drops 3 gold pieces for him.
Oh my God! There's no way. You should not be paying more than 1.5 gold for that, Kai. Don't let this man steal from you. You're better than that. You know the quality of that is just barely acceptable.
That's just the thing, my friend. I do know the quality of it, and I understand exactly what it takes to get such materials, and as such, I will gladly pay at any time for such high quality work. And he kind of looks back over to the rest of the party, and specifically over at like Talia, who is like, no, I'm all set, and will kind of look at her and be like, are you certain you don't want something here?
Are you questioning what I want?
I most certainly am. Are you certain you don't want something from here?
My people make the best stuff. No one is going to beat their quality.
Very well. And Kai will kind of turn back, kind of ignoring all of this.
How
and
dare you insult me like that, CK?
He will kind of ignore this and just turn back over to the tailor and say,
The ire has changed.
He'll say, and when will these items be ready? I know it's very, very short notice considering that this opera is tonight. Is there anything we can do to help aid you in this?
With that, he, hearing this bit of an outburst from Biz and such, and then seeing the back and forth, he just kind of looks back and forth and says, well, I appreciate that someone has a taste for the finer things, and has respect for good quality craftsmanship, but I assure you, I can give me, he kind of thinks for a moment, give me an hour or so. I'll rush these orders through very quickly. You see that he hasn't really taken measurements or anything from anyone. He just kind of quickly eyeballs everyone going back and forth and says, yes, give me about an hour, and I'll have everything tailored up to fit you quite well. And once you return, we'll do our final fittings, make sure that you look presentable, as you must be if you were going any of my attire to the theater tonight, and you'll be set on your way.
Very well, 1 hour. Kind of look back to the others and say, is there anything else that you need to get before we prepare for this opera tonight?
How do you do it, Kai? I've spent my whole life learning to bargain for everything, and you're just so casual about it.
Yes,
very impressive.
Where I come from, gold is really not that big of an ordeal. You come and go buy gold all the time. It's not that difficult. And kind of looks like kind of quizzically at Viz, like not quite understanding how he's like, this, tight with money. And Kai is just like,
I never even saw a gold piece till I came to Waterdeep.
That's
we got eyes on copper and kindness of others. It's an interesting experience to see how you're just so casual. I'm just so used to having to fight to buy anything ever in my entire life, and you can just so casually just buy all the things that you need and want, and I feel so greedy with the coin I do have. I don't want to lose it because I don't know if I'll ever see this much coin ever again.
Perhaps it's just a privilege I have from my upbringing, but you learn very quickly that money will come and go, and honestly, it's just living by what's going on in front of you and doing whatever is going to make you the happiest, and at least that's how I was brought up with my parents.
It's really cool to see. That's all. I just never been around anything like that before, and we're in this city of wonder and amazement, and there's just so much, and so many things are so expensive, and I've been poor for so long. Still am poor, but it's just neat to see.
Well, speaking of that, I do have a task I would like to ask you to undertake for me.
Oh God, I'll do my best.
Well,
You know, I'll do it. I'll
I-
try.
I'm sure you will. I have this book. I've been working on this idea for a long time, following ancient texts and things from my past, and, well, I know that you're good with writing, and your script writing would be perfect for this. And if you are not opposed, I would like to ask you to do this in your free time.
To pen a book for you?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, I could do that. I'd love to.
He kind of nods a bit and says, very well, then you two will never know what it is like to not have money again, for as long
Honestly,
as I'm concerned.
more than money, I'd rather just get to know more about you and your history. You come from a place that's so different than me, and I'd love to learn about it. That part sounds more appealing to me than money. Knowledge will last forever, and like you said, gold comes and goes, so I'd rather have that information.
And he kind of nods and says, and that you will learn over time, I promise you.
Knowledge is power. I have no problem with that.
Okay. Alrighty. So, with that, you set off. You have quite a few. It's nearing midday at this point. You all kind of slept in a little bit, but you're able to wait about an hour, kind of perusing through the shops and such. You see once again a matter or all manner of shops all around you. You find blacksmiths, a couple of them. Just listing off some names here. You found one weapon shop that had kind of a grisly sign called Bloodbath and Beyond. You found another one, run by
Love
what
it.
appeared to be a dwarf standing out in front of a smithing called Hammer Time. You found a few places where they were offering fletching service. One was called Target, another called the Hunter's Mark. A few general stores, trinkets and baubles and general nonsense among the few that you found. Some potion shops. One called the Spoonful of Sugar, as well as Boils and Bubbles. Once again, the arcane shops. One caught Jot's eye, once again, called How Do You Spell It? Seemed to be a scroll shop of some kind.
Nice.
You see a couple stonemasons.
Are you making these up or are these written down?
I'm not that clever. Come on, y'all know that. Y'all know that.
It's clever, but puns. I can see you doing puns.
Yeah.
You see some stonemasons offering their services. One called Walmart.
Is there a Farm and Royalty bookstore?
Karzak,
around?
thank you for the follow.
The
Very
Barnes
much
and Noble
appreciated,
Farm and
friend.
Royalty.
Farm and Royalty.
And welcome.
Do not find one of those.
Happy to have
Unfortunately.
you here.
You do find another shop that you think might be related to Helga. It's called D's Nuts. Seems to be a nut shop of some kind. But a few more here and there. But as you're shopping around, the hour passes, and you head back, and Lewel, true to his word, is able to fit all of them. He does have to adjust Jots a couple times, just not quite able to get her size from a cursory glance, but is able to shorten it a bit and trim the dress up to fit her very nicely, being very modest in it. Yes, that is how it's spelled, Steve. And with that, like I said, it's a little bit after midday at this point. I think some of y'all said you wanted to go to the yawning portal for lunch.
Yeah.
Dressed in a new attire. Want to show off
Ooh.
your thread in front of
Ooh, yeah.
Okay. Everybody in there.
Mm-hmm.
They're nice, fancy
What-
threads.
Let's call it dinner before the show.
Dinner before the show.
Okay.
We're pre-gaming it at the yawning portal.
Pre-gaming it at the yawning portal. There you
Yeah.
go.
All right. Everybody give me
Con save.
perception checks or dex saving throws, your choice.
Wow.
Wait, what?
That
Wow.
is a very different thing.
What?
I when I get there, I need to find like
Oh god.
a bit. I need to find like
Ironically,
a
those
bib.
are the same
God.
to me.
I need to find a bib
Oh,
or something
that's a drink.
so that I can
Yeah.
like, not spill on my dinner clothes.
Okay. Go ahead and
My
roll
bib.
with advantage, Steve. Roll one more time.
Oh shit, that's what this is. Oh thank God.
All right. So as you're sitting down at the yawning portal, you actually, as you move in, you see a few familiar faces here and there. You see, Bonnie actually leads you in, and she kind of comments, "You're looking very fancy. Well, of course, you cannot sit up here with the rest of the rabble dressed like that." And with that, she leads you towards the back of the yawning, away from everything. You see this table through. You see this kind of curtain set up and then curving off from a supporting beam in the middle of the area there, just north of the portal itself, the yawning portal. With that, she leads you into this kind of secluded space inside. She says, "Only fit for what you're wearing. Of course, we'll treat you to food and drink. Just be very careful. I would hate for anything to get onto your nice garments." And with that, she retreats from there, kind of giving you this open area, or this closed-off area, rather, for you to sit in. Nothing too much happens. Couple of you get very close to spilling some ale onto your fancy duds, namely Talia and Kai. But you're able to keep them clean, as the DC was 5, and you nailed it.
Good.
So-
That's good.
I mean,
Say-
Talia
I was
only
say-
drinks
Just
water.
barely.
If anybody spills, I'll prestidigitate and clean them back up.
Yeah.
So.
So yeah, like I said, you hear all sorts of manner. I mean, it was pretty busy here in the yawning portal for lunchtime and such, but you're able to get some decent hot meals into you. Some appear to be like a kind of fried chicken, as well as some wild boar that's been grilled up for you as well. All of it ends up totaling up to 2 silver pieces total for all of your drinks and food.
Just say I'll cover it.
All right. And
How much?
space body. 2
2
silver.
silver total.
Okay. I'll once again drop 1 gold piece for the entire meal.
Everyone's just like,
No, I got this, Risk. It's fine. There's a
It's
gold piece.
fine.
Bonnie
Kai's
once again
just literally
thanks you,
making it rain here today.
making it rain.
I like that CK's muted, but we can tell exactly what he's saying.
I was copying Steve. Steve did it first.
I imagine so. Kai pulls up through the drive-through. Oh, we $5, sir. Here's 100. Bye.
It's fine. Here you go. It's fine. Whatever.
Keep the change. Keep the
It's
change.
fine.
With that, Bonnie nods to you, Kai, once again, and smiles and says, "Well, of course, one more round for everyone, and I'm glad that I decided to bring you back here. Your patronage does not go unnoticed." And with that, she brings you another round of water, beer, ale, wine, and such. At this
Guys,
point,
she's learning too. She's getting much better at her job.
Well, I would learn too if you were
Really
threatening me.
well.
This is just eyeing the hole in the middle, just staring at it, just waiting for another monster to come out of it.
can't quite
Do we
see it
have
through the,
anything to
curtains,
spike
but,
Viz's drink with to like calm him down? Is there like Xanax and D&D we can crush up and put in his drink? Chill.
Let's just drug
I
him.
do. It's called Calm Emotions. It's a spell. All right, so it's
Can
But
she
you
get that
know all
in
too well.
roofie form?
just a potion of that.
Put
Just
magical
poison.
essence into a capsule and I'll
Calm
put it in his
emotion
drink.
I mean, calm emotions kind of always is a roofie. Like, I don't think anyone ever willingly.
Just
no,
ask. Just ask
I think
Havoc.
all of
He
us-
knows.
Willingly.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yup. So yeah, a few hours pass and such. You enjoying your lunch as well as a few drinks and such. You're heading to a very fancy establishment based on what you're hearing and what you've been told to prepare for. Something pretty much, I mean, aside from a couple of you, have really not partaken in, and I like to think nobody's really gone to an opera before, and very much not this opera. But as you feel several hours have passed, you know that night is approaching, and you know that the opera will be starting sometime in the near future. You find yourselves leaving the yawning portal, leaving it behind. and heading towards the sea ward. Or castle ward, sorry. Alright. Okay, so as you make your way up, kind of asking people here and there of where to head, you find yourself heading towards a few streets up, kind of heading towards the... I don't think I have a marker for this. So we'll say that it's... Surprised that isn't in there. Radial's token. Castle Ward. Zoom. Where would Lightsinger Theater be?
Would I know of Tiamat?
All of you would know Tiamat, yes.
Wait, what about Tiamat?
You would know that
Tiamat.
general knowledge.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know who Tiamat is. I don't know why it came up.
Well, the play
That's
is called
the name.
Tiamat's Fall.
Oh,
Yeah.
I missed that information. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I wonder if it's going to be about her falling into the first layer of hell of Avernus.
I'm
so excited.
I'm so excited to see where this goes.
Everybody give me history checks. Ooh, nice.
Specifically about this one time when she did this exact same thing.
Oh, okay, all right.
Who's that? Okay.
Cheers.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah, 2 cheers. Well, I'm out of drink, fortunately.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So all of you know general knowledge about Tiamat. Tiamat being basically a deity, but not a good one. She is essentially the chromatic dragon. Chromatic dragons you all know to being the evil side of the dragon race. None of them being really good. And Tiamat kind of embodies that evilness. You know, once again, general knowledge that she was banished long ago to the circles of hell for her transgressions against the other various divine gods. But namely, Jot, Kai, and Viz. You know that recently, just a few years back, there was a major event that happened on the Sword Coast. There was a cult of the dragon that rose in power and worked together to try to bring Tiamat back from the layers of hell, bring her back to the prime material plane. And they almost succeeded, if not for some brave adventurers who stood against the cult and all of its power and stopped the ritual from coming to its fruition and vanquished Tiamat back to her prison in the hells. And you kind of assume that this might be what the opera is about.
Yeah. I'm all in.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So, as you get there, darkness starting to approach. You're able to find Lightsinger Theater as you're making your way down Warrior's Way, past the a couple of landmarks here, the Temple of Seldarine, as well as the Hawkman, one of the large statues here in Waterdeep as well, but not really having time, wanting to find this place and get there before things take off. You find a large group of people kind of meandering around this large building, and as you're looking up to it, it's very ornate. The construction onto it, intricate and beautiful. And you see a sign kind of out in the front, being stood behind by a couple of guards. And you see the fall of Tiamat, tonight only. And you see people getting ready to move into it. Everybody going in when the doors open?
Yep.
First, I want to look around outside, just see if there's anything seems out of the ordinary. Any sort of large groups of people with shaved heads and eyeball tattoos, or anything like that.
As you're looking around, you see quite the opposite. Actually, you see everybody is very fancily dressed. You see all manners of exquisite dress and suits on men, as well as tuxedos, things all, I mean, just all fancy dress. Imagine black tie party. That's what you're seeing all around you. All of these people kind of meandering around there. No untoward seem to be even there. You actually see guards kind of roaming around the street corners and such, watching, and making sure nothing unsavory approaches to this event.
Are we unarmed at the moment?
I would assume you're either hiding your weapons and such, or not really brandishing them out in the open with your fancy dress.
Right. I just didn't know if we were totally, unarmed or...
My trident is like Wonder Woman hiding her blade in the dress.
Yes.
How easy would it be to just walk around with a staff, though?
It would be frowned upon, but not illegal. And you wouldn't be stopped for it, but you might get some odd glances.
Okay. Because, if it's going to catch unwanted attention, he'd probably leave it behind.
It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll say he leaves it behind. It's fine.
The Risk left his sword, but he does have his hand crossbow rather kind of stowed away.
Okay.
I'm using my quarterstaff like a walking stick.
Okay. So with you not being completely unarmed, but not wanting to draw undue attention, you've stowed a few of your weapons and such, and just once again wanting to kind of enjoy this this affair that you've been invited and paid for to go to. So with that, you enter into Lightsinger Theater.
Oh shit! Do we have a map for this?
No.
Oh god. Okay.
Oh, I thought that's what you were pulling up.
Right?
No.
I was like, oh god, I have made a horrible mistake. Hold on.
I was gonna say, if there's a map, that's a bad sign.
There's no map. Theater of the Mind, boys and girls. All right, so
It's like the opening scene in Phantom of the Opera when like the chandelier comes up.
So as you enter, the doors finally open. These 3 sets of double doors along this large building are opened up, and you see people begin to in an orderly fashion, but rather still kind of flooding into it. As you follow the crowd into, surrounded by people, the crowd's kind of moving you along. All of you are led into this large opening area, and then you see various doors leading ahead of you as well. As you move into, you see ushers here and there, and they're glancing at tickets and kind of directing people where to go sit based on where their ticket seats are assigned. As the group of you moves up, the usher reads them and says, towards the front, a few rows back, the next usher will be able to show you to your place, and you move on down. You see her about 5 rows back, or 4 rows back rather, pretty close to the front. You all start heading towards your seats. You say, once again, you're not quite front row, but you have a very nice view of the stage, as well as this orchestra that's already set up in front of you, down in a pit in front of the stage. You see up on the stage itself is this huge red curtain, the stage about 50 to 75 feet across. It's very magnificent. You see heads of dragons kind of made of wood sitting up on and flanking either side of the stage. As you're finally finding your seats and such, you see once again all these manner of could possibly be nobles and ladies and lords all around you, taking their seats as well. Up above you, you see there's tiered seats up above you. The nosebleeds way back behind you, as well as flanking you on left and right. You see these boxes, seating 5 to 10 people or so inside of them, with curtains to, shelter them a little bit of privacy and give them a direct view for the stage. Obviously, the best seats in the house. Unfortunately, you were not able to proffer them. As everyone seems to be sitting down after a few minutes, the overhead illumination begins to dim. And as it does so, you start looking around and see there's no actual lights within here. It just seems some kind of light spell or something along those lines is illuminating the chamber. As the lights begin to dim, all of your eyes are drawn to the center of the stage as one solitary figure dressed in bright and somewhat flamboyant colors strides elegantly and smoothly to the center of the stage. A lone driftload hovers above him, and then, with a flash of light, illuminates him, his attire almost glowing with the added light. Then, he begins to speak. Feared by all lest taken by ignorance. Her cruelty, known to leave black stains on history. Once again, the 5-headed demon sought to roam these lands and spread terror and dark divinity to all mortals of this great land. Her followers many, her opposition unprepared. The Dragon Queen herself led the hordes of evil upon this land. But where there are times of great darkness, heroes arise. And with a deep bow, the curtains behind the man open, swinging outwards as he strides off stage. Behind the curtain, you see a hilly scene depicted before you rather. Green grass covers the hillside, along with the centerpiece, a small village with a keep in the center of it stands before you. Dusk appears to be approaching the scene based on the lighting, but you see all manners of these actors portraying townsfolk walking to and from different set pieces around this keep. Suddenly, alarm bells begin ringing all through the theater. You see two actors playing guards pointing above them, back into the crowd above your heads, and you hear a joined cry from almost every one of the actors before you as they scream in unison, "Dragon!" As they yell this, an almost deafening roar fills the theater as you glance over your shoulders and you see an illusory blue dragon swooping towards the stage above you. As it glides past towards the stage, you see the scene beginning to change with expert quickness into a now burning village. You see all manners of thugs and kobolds rampaging and terrorizing the actors playing townsfolk on the stage. Some of the townsfolk make a rather dramatic ordeal of yelling in terror or dying in terrible agony from the depicted savagery of the attackers joining in with this dragon's assault. As several kobolds and one woman start to make towards the center of the stage, you see the scene falling away and focusing on this group of kobolds chasing this woman and what appear to be her family members down with the intent to snuff their lives out. Suddenly, 5 figures burst from an alleyway and present themselves before the evil kobolds. A large Goliath, his chest bare and a huge greatsword clutched in his hands, yells out, "Stop, fiends, lest you be killed for your savagery." A moon elf with an extravagant bow in his hand smirks at the kobolds as he draws an arrow and pulls it back to his bow, poised to strike. The third figure, a golden dragonborn that seems to blend with the shadows around him, sneaks with a rapier drawn out of sight of the kobolds, crouched like a cat ready to strike. Next, another gold dragonborn steps forward, a sword almost seeming to whistle as he spins it in his hand, and says, "Retreat, or perish, creatures. These people are under our protection." The last figure, a somewhat smaller earth genocide, but with eyes as pale as the moon, moves forward and, while looking in the wrong direction of the kobold, says, "Yeah, what they said," and raises a heavy maul ready to attack. Thus, combat breaks out before you, and the seeming heroes easily vanquish the kobolds and usher the group of now cheering townsfolk towards the keep in the background. The scene changes once again, and the play continues on for some time. You see events of great battles take place where the odds are clearly stacked against this group of heroes, even seeing the archer of the group assumingly slain, but a new hero joins the tide, a beautiful Asimir with fiery red hair. You see cunning espionage of exploring enemy encampments and rallying this group of lizard folk to turn on their masters, with epic songs in the background sung in giant throughout this entire scene. The play hits a climax with the heroes assaulting a flying fortress made of ice full of their enemies, including a terrifying white dragon that seemed to be a puppet this time around and not an illusion. This dragon giving the party a real run for their money before finally being slain. As their epic battle with the dragon ends, the curtains close once again and a voice echoes around the theater. We will continue our performance of The Fall of Tiamat after a brief intermission. And as rounds of applause go out for the first act of this play, with the intermission now taking hold, everyone standing up and kind of stretching a bit. A couple hours have transpired at this point. You all are somewhat marveled by this glorious tale of a group of heroes going through and are excited for the second act. But intermission has come. And if you remember the note, you were told to seek someone out during intermission. But that is where we're going to end the session for the evening.
Well done.
Nice. That was cool. I like that description.
That's super cool.
That's what Viz wants to do.
That sounds super familiar. I don't know why.
He wants to use magic to tell a story.
I'm so glad that you're doing the same thing I'm doing, though.
It was such a fun little thing that was in here. It was like, oh, the fall team. And I'm like, hey, I'm doing that campaign.
Right?
I can do that.
Wait, what?
So those are characters in the campaign he's ran?
What he was describing was our Tyranny of Dragons campaign here on this channel.
I assumed
the same
there was
characters.
Some sort of reference there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I've started to do that too. Like the what was it? The Storm King's Thunder playthrough that we're doing. I've added in characters from the other campaigns now to kind of mix it all together. So it's kind of cool. That's awesome.
That's really cool. That's awesome.
And this was what I was working on, the 4 pages of notes.
Nice.
Recapping half an adventure. So.
And then if we just, had just decided not to go to the opera.
I would have been all right. Cool, I guess.
Guess we're not doing that.
That was really cool. All right.
I'm glad y'all
Super
enjoyed it.
cool. All right, I'm going to end stream and I'll be right back.
Okay.
All right, so that's going to do it for tonight. Let's, 1 sec. Thank you again for being here. Very much appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in tonight. Lots of fun, great stories all around. Havoc once again doing a fantastic job for us, which I truly appreciate. And I appreciate all of you tuning in tonight for this session. Don't forget, we're back here on Sunday for a one-shot campaign. Unfortunately, our current game, I think it's going to be a one-shot. It may be changed. I think our entropy game may not run because we have at least one player that's not going to be here. But we'll figure it out. If it turns into entropy, it turns into entropy. It's not a big deal. Come and hang out with us, though. I would love to have you here. I'm thankful that you guys tune in tonight, as always. I'm not sure that there's really anybody online. I'll give it a look here in just a second. But yeah, tune in Sunday night. We will be back, and then we'll be back for Tyranny on Tuesday, Civil War on Wednesday, very first session of the campaign. Make sure you tune in. That's going to be super fun. I'm very much looking forward to that game because I have rewritten the story, being given a bit of extra time for that. So I'm looking forward to playing that. And then we'll be back for this game next Friday, 9 p.m. Eastern. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you have a good night, and I will see you all very, very soon. So take care, and I'll see you soon.